hosting radio together in the morning on the nation's best radio station, 1210 WPHT. So that's what you're going to get this morning. We're going to bob and weave through all the news and recent stories and everything that goes on, and that's gone on over the course of the last week, and we're going to have a ton of fun as well. I got a little challenge that we can give to the listening audience right now. Once we have a stable connection here, for those of you who saw the mock debate last year, which was hilarious, it was a great time out there. We were in New Jersey, remote broadcast. I had this huge, it was incredible, really, think about it, this huge Philly cheesesteak. It was so big, it put me to sleep on the plane ride home back to Nashville. But for those of you who were either there or were listening on the radio or were watching on YouTube and you were like, Nick Kayal, he called himself fake strapper. I want to ask a question. Well, once we have everything all situated, and we're working on it right now, I challenge anybody who's watching, listening, however you're watching and or listening, to give us a call at 855-839-1210. You will get the opportunity to ask Donald Trump and Kamala Harris any question that you want. Of course, you keep it clean for radio. And we will just see where that goes, because there's no better way to ring in the holiday season than to have the former vice president and the current president of the United States hashing out their disputes live on 1210 WPHT between 6 and 10 o'clock in the morning. Look, a lot went on over the course of last week. Things started to slow down as we got into the weekend. And that's mainly because of, I believe, Turning Point USA's America Fest in Arizona. And I've been to these events before. They're a lot of fun. And if that's what you're into, and when I say that, they're great networking opportunities, right? For anybody who's up and coming in the conservative media space, the political activism space, any of those kind of realms. For those of you who are consumers of various podcasts and various programs and forms of entertainment or different outlets, whether it's Breitbart, whether it's the Daily Wire, whether it's the Daily Caller, and then there's some independent networks that wind up there and independent podcasters and content creators that show up at Turning Point USA in these places. It's a great networking opportunity. It's kind of like if you've been to CPAC. I've been to CPAC many times. And it's a bit of a younger crowd, obviously. Turning Point USA was geared towards the colleges, now also expanding into high schools. It's a great networking experience. When I went a couple of years ago, I went to the America Fest in 2021, late 21. I think it was late 21. I believe it was. I went to that America Fest and I met a bunch of people that some of whom I still speak to. Some of whom not anymore, not for no other reason. It's, I was in New York at the time. Now I'm in Tennessee, long distance, the whole 9 yards. But it's a great networking opportunity. So I encourage people who are into that sort of thing, go. And I went. Now, I will say something a little bit negative, and it's not necessarily about Turning Point, the organization, but just a caution, especially regarding the conservative podcaster media space now. A lot, and I'm not saying all, I'm not saying everybody who goes there is guilty of this, right? But just candidly, the things that I saw and continue to see, whether it's online in little debates and back and forths and he said, she said, and little squabbles, right? These online squabbles, or it's some of the things that you see at these conventions after the convention is over, kind of at the parties and all that. It's a breeding ground for, should I say, degeneracy. And I'm not trying to say that atop some high horse, right? Like I am, wagging my finger, morally upstanding. Like, not what I'm trying to do. But for those who are going to kind of meet the people who, they look up to in the space, you might wind up being a little disappointed. That's all I'm going to say. You might wind up being a little disappointed. And this is why I try to avoid those conventions and conferences these days, because largely it's something that I don't really want to, I don't know, be a part of in that sense. So I was not there this year. Obviously, part of the reason why I was not there this year is what I just explained to you. Okay. But another part of the reason why I was not there this year is because we had this very, very great opportunity to be here on 1210 WPHT. People were like, "Why are you not going to America Fest this year?" I said, I got big appearances coming up here. I got an echo in my ear, guys. Big appearances coming up here on 1210 WPHT, and very excited about that. So I saw the back and forth. I saw the different clips going around of different media figures that were speaking on the stage at Turning Point America Fest. Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson. I saw some of the photos that were floating around. I saw some of the I don't know, clips from different presentations on the stage at Turning Point America Fest. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say, division and, all is lost already, because that's not what I think here. I do think housekeeping is very important. I do think that, holding our own side accountable is also very important. But in the same respect, after what happened on September 10th, 2025, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I don't know if that's necessarily what he would have wanted on his stage. Now, I'm not somebody who knew Charlie personally. I'm not going to claim that I did. There are people who are trying to assert themselves as authorities over what he would want. I think one of the only people who could do that is his widow. So I'm not going to sit there and say, you're defiling his name and you're tarnishing his legacy and you're doing all these things. But at the same time, last year at Turning Point America Fest, both Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson were present, and nobody was taking shots at one another, right? The big quote unquote divisive issue, the big wedge issue right now that exists on the right is the issue of Israel and Gaza and U.S. foreign policy. And while it is important, it is not the most important issue facing our country at this time, right? We were very critical of the Democrats, very critical of the left for focusing on issues back during the Biden years, the 2021 to 2025 Biden years. We were both very critical of the left, or all of us, because issues that simply didn't matter to the American people, right? Transgender, men and women's sports, all of these different issues, trivial issues that just didn't matter, right? That just didn't matter. And when you look at, and I'm not saying that foreign policy doesn't matter, but when you go to let's say you go to the supermarket, right? I go to the supermarket quite a bit. Big fan of food, right? I like eating. I like cooking. Everybody I know generally likes the same thing, right? They like to eat. They like to cook. They need to eat. They need to cook. When you go to a supermarket, let's say you're standing in line at the deli counter, or you are waiting online at the register, right? At checkout. You think anybody in that line waiting to pay whatever they're going to pay at the supermarket cares about U.S. foreign policy or is their most important thing how much this bill at the supermarket's going to cost? Is their focus on affordability, right? That's the magic word that the Democrats are using: affordability, affordability, affordability. What is it that Americans are focused on? What is it that impacts Americans on a day-to-day basis? Is it Israel? Is it Hamas? Is it how much foreign aid is going to Ukraine? Or, I mean, these are all important issues. I'm not saying that we shouldn't talk about them. But these are not the issues that the entire right should be hyper-focused on. And unfortunately, it is. Unfortunately, the entire right is hyper-focused, laser-focused, unfortunately, on these foreign policy issues. It is something that we should talk about. It is something that we should concern ourselves with. It is not something that we should be obsessed over, and it is certainly not something that should divide us over. And so I ask the question, and I said this after October 7th, 2023, thinking that we would not fall into the same trap that the left is falling into and has fallen into. I said this, I think it was on October 12th. I remember I have the clip somewhere on my show on LFA TV on Rumble. The Israel-Hamas issue is going to be an issue that divides the left. And it was until it started to get, until that wedge started to force itself into the right. And now you're seeing a very clear divide on the right on that particular issue. Now, the cliche of there's more that we have in common than there is that sets us apart, right? It's true. But it has gotten very vitriolic. It has gotten very, can I say, vicious, contentious. It's gotten kind of nasty. It's gotten kind of nasty. And I'd be a liar if I said I didn't contribute to that a little bit. Because I have. Because, we've worked very hard. All of us have. To try and save our country and to try and put our country in the best position. And it's being, I believe, divided and manipulated and psyoped and essentially taken away from us by what I believe could be foreign actors. Now, it's not to say that these things shouldn't be hashed out. The differences of opinion between folks like Tucker Carlson, folks like Ben Shapiro, and I want to be very clear about both guys. I'm not a fan of either of them. There are folks on social media who are like, you're a shill for Ben Shapiro. I'm like, no, I'm not. And there are people like, well, you used to like Tucker Carlson. And I did until his J6 reporting on Fox News, where we were promised this investigation into the January 6 tapes that were, allegedly released by Kevin McCarthy. And we got the guided tour of the QAnon shaman, Jacob Chansley. And I said, this is nothing. This guy is completely kneecapped. So I'm not a fan of either guy. What I will say is the content of the remarks given by Ben Shapiro versus those of Tucker Carlson. I would say I agree a lot more with what Ben Shapiro had to say. And it's not because of who said it. And it's not because, he's Jewish or he supports Israel. It's because of what he said. A little later, I'm going to get into a poll. A majority of Americans don't want the Democrats to simply oppose what Donald Trump wants to do because Donald Trump wants to do it. It's like a flashback to one of my favorite movies, Pirates of the Caribbean, right? When if you've ever seen that movie where they're like rowing out of the British soldiers are rowing out of the cave, out of the cavern. And they're like, well, why don't we just do what Captain Sparrow said to do? And the Commodore says, because it was Captain Sparrow who said it. and that wound up being the wrong decision. Yeah, it's a pirate movie. It's not real life. But the point of the story, the point of what I'm trying to say is, just because you don't like somebody, right? You may not like somebody. I don't like Candace Owens. I don't agree with what she's doing. But if Candace Owens said tomorrow morning on her podcast, hey, I just found out that water is wet, I would say, okay, well, she's right about that. Chalk it up to the blind squirrel theory. So we're going to have we'll have a bunch of cuts and clips from Turning Point USA America Fest. And we've got a few clips from there. We've got terrible stories coming out of Europe, terrible stories, obviously, in Australia. Is there a government shutdown coming again? That's about a month away. What can Republicans do to stop it? And a major shakeup in the New York gubernatorial race. We'll have all that and more right here on 1210 WPHT. Do not go anywhere. I know it was a little bit of a shaky start, but we will be well underway as we continue through this morning on 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish filling in for Kayal and company all 4 hours this morning up until 10 o'clock Eastern time. Keep it locked right here on 1210 WPHT. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Gold is now over $4,300 an ounce. If you've got gold or silver just laying around, the States Roadshow wants it, and they're paying top dollar on the spot. Broken chains, old rings, coins, watches, diamonds, vintage jewelry. If it's valuable, they're buying it. Just walk in, get a free appraisal, and walk out with cash in your hand. They're also buying pre-1964 silver coins, flatware, sterling silverware stamped 925, coin collections, gold, silver, foreign, and domestic. Plus, they've been in business for over 35 years with thousands of prior happy customers. Licensed, bonded, state-certified scales, highest tech equipment, employees with GIA certifications. Estates Roadshow is happening 3 days only, Sunday through Tuesday, 2 locations. Chestnut Hill at the Chestnut Hill Hotel and in Cherry Hill at TMT Cash for Gold. Gold is hotter than ever, so get yourself some cash for the holidays. Go to estatesroadshow.com. estatesroadshow.com.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
Imagine the perfect chicken tender. Crispy, juicy, for lack of a better word, tendery. Now imagine these perfect tenders at Wendy's. 'Cause they are. Wendy's new chicken tenders are here with delicious new dipping sauces like Wendy's Signature, Creamy Ranch, and Honey Barbecue. And they're so good, we even changed our name from Wendy's to Tendies. I believe that's what the kids call manifesting. For Tendies you're gonna know by name, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Virtua Health, we're redefining heart care.
Our heart rhythm team at Virtua is really working at the forefront of technology. There's constantly new advances.
Like cardiac clinical trials and breakthrough treatments for atrial fibrillation.
Treating atrial fibrillation with ablation and treating it early allows for the best outcomes for our patients. We can make a meaningful difference in patients' lives.
Virtua Health, here for complex heart care, here for good. More at virtua.org/hereforgood.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli here with my friend Matt from Emmons Roofing and Siding. If you're like me, your house took a real beating this winter from all the snow, ice, and storms.
At Emmons Roofing and Siding, we're here to put it back together. We specialize in storm-resistant roofing and siding systems designed to last no matter what Mother Nature throws at it.
Well, Emmons is who I use and recommend, so call Emmons today at 856-556-3229 for a free roof inspection.
Or visit us at callemmons.com.
CallEmmons.com. Emmons, protecting homes, one roof at a time.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-822-1490. That's 800-822-1490. 800-822-1490.
Free speech lives here. With Dom Giordano weekdays noon till 3 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back here on 1210 WPHT. It is 6:24 on this official, I guess, first day of winter. That was yesterday, maybe. December 22nd, 2025. We're rolling into the holiday season. It's the eggnog brain fog. Get out of there. Get out of that eggnog brain fog. We're here. We're ready to rock and roll. And I think we've got Esty. Right? Is she here? Do I hear her? Is she there? Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
There she is.
Good morning.
She is here, and we are back on. We are back. It is the first time that the two of us have been on this radio station since the great mock debate of 2024. So for anybody who has a question for the former vice president and current, current president of the United States, you guys can give us a call at 855-839-1210. Esty, I got a question. I know you're real involved on social media. I've seen you kind of in some of these conversations surrounding the divide on the right, Israel, Hamas, these folks who are kind of carrying water for the bad guys. I think we can call Hamas the bad guys and not get in trouble. What do you make of this, and do you see it going away? Like, what is going on, and why is it so bad?
It's really bad. And I'll tell you like this. Look, when I first started, right, and I'm just going to speak from my own experience. When I first started the Kamala Harris stuff, obviously I grew a following on the conservative side, and the right side was very much like, listen, we love it. We love you. This is amazing. This is wonderful. Sadly, and I'm going to call him Carlson because I don't know what's going on with Tucker Carlson. He was actually the first person. He was the first person that gave me that primetime slot. I remember I did the Tucker Carlson show very, very, very briefly. After that, did he get fired from Fox? I saw such a difference after what happened with, on September 10th with Charlie Kirk, and even after October 7th. But there was some things, especially with the war with Iran. The left hated me. The right was great. And I don't know what happened, but there was some kind of shift. And I really, truly feel like there was all of these things combined into one that created this really, really sad environment for us as a country, where it's almost like a red-green alliance. There was a massive shift from the right side that was like, listen, you're not America first at the end of the day. Like, if you're a Jew and if you're not denouncing Israel or whatever, like, you're just not America first. And I saw this huge shift, and I was just like, hold on a second. First of all, why are we getting attacked? Why are we so pro-Hamas all of a sudden? And so there were some people on the right that were like, listen, I don't support terrorism, but At the end of the day, you guys got to understand they're fighting. It's resistance. When I started hearing conversations like this on the right, and when I start seeing people like Tucker Carlson, and when I start seeing people like Nick Fuentes gaining massive popularity, all it tells me is it's indicating that there is rot in our society and it's spreading. And that rot spreads very, very quickly. And there is a reason, and this is probably the biggest reason. There was a time in my life where I thought it was a little too excessive how Jew hatred was handled. I was actually younger and I thought, okay, listen, there's people that are anti-Semitic, it's fine, but like it was literally clutch your pearls. Oh my God. Now I get it. Now I understand. Because let me tell you something. If you ride that wave, it's not just dangerous for Jewish people. It's just such a bad indication that there is such a severe rot in society. And that's my issue with it. Now, you said earlier that, you're not the biggest fan of Ben Shapiro. And you're absolutely right. There are things that he has said. He might not have the best likability factor. There are things that are said, but I think they're all bad for this movement. I think TPUSA, I think that Charlie's turning in his grave. It's been very, very sad to see what happened with Candace Owens. That's me personally. I used to be a big fan. I used to be a big believer that she was on the side of the truth, but she's a contrarian, apparently. She's a contrarian. And watching Charlie Kirk's circle absolutely eat each other alive, meaning, from Shapiro and Ben and all of these people that are involved, it's very sad. It's very sad. I think that there's a lack of respect to Erica Kirk and her family. The things that I'm seeing on social media, it's just, I don't know, Sean. I don't know what happened. I don't know where we went wrong. We went from like, we're a good nation, we're a Christian nation, it's going to be okay. Charlie Kirk is going to bring more people closer to God, closer to Jesus Christ. There's, that's going to be the turning point for our country. And I'm going to be honest, like a couple of weeks, maybe it felt that way, but I don't know what happened because it completely got taken over by far-right groypers. And they're very bad for the entire movement, for Trump's president, admin as well. They are just ripping it to shreds. And I think Tim Pool said it best.
I'll tell you what I think happened. Right? Is what Charlie Kirk was the glue. And the glue is, the glue is gone. The glue's been taken away. And so, he was murdered in cold blood. Unfortunately, a lot of people compared it to the Kennedy assassination because everyone saw it, right? Like it was available for everybody. Maybe not everyone saw it live, but I mean, I came home that day and, logged on to X and was finishing up some stuff from my show earlier that morning. And I had to leave. I said to my wife, I said, Charlie Kirk just got shot. And she started crying.
And we can all close our eyes for a second and we can actually just see the image because that's a traumatic moment in this country's history.
It plays in our heads, right? It's terrible. But think what happened was, and this is what happens. I mean, you'll see this happen like in third world countries, right? Where like a leader gets assassinated or a leader gets deposed out of power. And there's what's, known as a power vacuum. And so usually the most extreme voices wind up rising to power in that situation. And when you combine that with how the internet works, okay? And I say this, and I do this all the time. People are like, well, you make your living on the internet. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do make I podcast, I do content, I post short clips, I do reels. I do make my living on the internet. But, you and I, we do this, we do these funny bits and we can have serious conversations too. We do these, Trump is singing Christmas songs and you got Kamala drunk at 2 PM and you're doing all these, I mean, it's all great stuff. And it's all, and I think that's honestly, I think that's, more of what folks on our side kind of need, even to laugh at ourselves a little bit, right? To even laugh. But this is how it works generally when it comes to sharing of the news, right? The truth, the objective truth, water is wet. I like to use this example. I don't think nobody's going to argue with me that water is wet. You don't believe me? Go take a shower, right? So, and you'll be wet. That's the objective truth gets buried and it's more likely to go viral if somebody comes out online and says, the wetness of water is a psyop that has been pushed on us by Israel or named foreign country here. And it's just, it's ridiculous. And that's what gets rewarded on the internet. And I think in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, because of that, that's how algorithms work. That's how engagement bait works. That's how enragement bait works. In the wake of Charlie's assassination, people knew that and just jumped on it and said, it was this one. And you know who's laughing all the way to the bank? You know who's fat and happy right now is the radical left, because all of those people who blamed everybody under the sun except the radical left essentially that carried water for them. And so now you have Antifa, you have the people who were mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination, celebrating it, monetizing it, and saying all of these nasty things about how happy they were. The radical left, who believed it was justified to kill him, they are now the ones that are, I would say, excited about it. And that's really sad.
It's not only sad. I mean, it's an indication of how split up we are as a country. When you have Ilhan Omar sitting up there, doing, doubling down after what she said. She was supposed to get censured, and I was really upset that we got four rhinos that kept her in office after this. But she sat there and she's like, listen, there's nothing to celebrate here. His legacy belongs in the trash bin. And when you have someone like that in Congress and, they're sitting there and they are one of those people that with constituents that are applauding something like this, and not only applauding it, kind of saying like, you know what, this is, and you're absolutely right. They're the ones celebrating. You could see the smug look on her face every time she actually discusses this again. And we have become this party that's unrecognizable right now. Like, I'm terrified about the midterms because I think that we were so strong when Trump won and everything was going smooth sailing. Of course, nobody anticipated something like this with Charlie Kirk, but you're absolutely right. I have seen everyone and their mother get blamed. So instantly lazy do blaming for the entire world's problems. And fortunately, like that is what's rewarded. The faker the post, the more viral it's going to be. One person said something about $7,000 a post. Hundreds of thousands of people are accusing me continuously. Like, up $7,000. She got paid $7,000. I'm like, yo, guys, if you did the math,
have you ever met the APAC guy?
I assure you.
Have you ever met him?
Huh? No.
Have you ever met the APAC guy who's giving out those checks yet? Because I haven't met him. I got accused of the same thing, and I was like,
out where I can sign up to get my
too.
Checks, please.
That's what
I would love to know. If you think
they're like, you just got paid. You're getting paid to post.
Because I'm telling people, if I'm getting paid $7,000 a post, don't you think all my feed 24 times a day would be posted about Israel? Because that's a beautiful number. And it just goes to show you, and I of course, and I underlined $7,000 post because it's one thing. It went viral. It hit repost. It went on someone's story. It got shared in a WhatsApp group. It got shared in Telegram. And the virality of content like that, you could see the damage it does, because I have someone from Sydney, Australia, accusing me of taking $7,000, someone from Brazil, someone from Alaska, and someone, from with a foreign account on X. It doesn't even matter. That's how powerful the internet is. We might as well all be in the same cafeteria room listening to the same gossip. And unless you're willing to seriously dig for the truth, you're going to be in trouble. And when you try to share the truth, you're going to get shunned and it gets shoved down your throat, more fake articles. And that's exactly why people like Candace Owens are successful. Because imagine you could be a contrarian to that extent and just pull out lie after lie and plant seed after seed, and you're going to have a hit show. And you're going to get millions of views on YouTube and everything else that you're streaming. That's it. That's what you have to do. The more full of it you are, the crazier you are, the more popular you're getting and the more money you're getting paid.
Well, and you're in New York, right? So, Howard Stern, right? I always go back to like how Howard Stern became popular. He's a shock jock, right? Mm-hmm. People tuned into Howard Stern to find out what he was going to say next, not necessarily because they were being enlightened, but because they're being entertained. And I don't think a lot of people realize that
exactly.
And he knew about it, right? He was smart, very smart. I don't like his politics, but wildly successful in this industry. And I look at a guy like that. I look at somebody like Nick Fuentes, and I look at them exactly the same way. I look at Tucker Carlson right now, exactly the same way. I look at Alex Jones right now, exactly the same way. Where they're throwing these wild things out there. It's red water, it's chum, and they're making the piranhas go crazy in the water.
When did it become acceptable even? I don't understand what's going on. It's the same thing with the anti-Semitism that I critiqued earlier. How is Nick Fuentes streaming on all these platforms, getting paid and saying the N-word so freely, and he does it over and over and over again? There's many creators like that, but when did that become even acceptable? How is Nick Fuentes not cowering under the bed, afraid when he sees someone in the street, like an African American? I'm just curious.
He doesn't leave his house. That's the thing. Nobody knows about him in the real world.
When
Go
did
to
this
the
become
supermarket.
okay? There was a time.
Here's the thing. It's not okay, right? it isn't okay. Now, I'm one of these. I'm a free speech absolutist. I say if a certain group can say a word, then everybody should be able to say the word. I don't say it. It's not a nice word. Okay. I have no reason to do it. And a lot of these people say, oh, well, we're just saying it because we're proving a point, free speech, blah, blah, blah. Fine, whatever. But I look at it and I say, all right, so you want to go and you want to drop racial slur, or you want to say the N-word, or you want to drop racial slurs about Jews, and you want to prove a point that you're not going to be canceled. Good, wonderful, fine, whatever, do what you want to do. I don't know why people find that appealing, other than, again, it's entertaining for them. It's shocking for them. It's the shock jock thing. It's like when Howard Stern started talking about body parts on the radio, and people were like, oh, wow, look at what is he going to say tomorrow? I'm going to tune in. The problem is there are people who think that these folks, and I call them the woke right, that they have a point. And they don't, right? They don't have a point. They come up with these, they bring you fake evidence. They bring you, you mentioned these fake articles, these fake stories, these fake accusations. They find a rumor. They repeat it 1 billion times. Now a lot of people think it's true. It's typical gaslighting, and it is hurting our movement. When I grew up in New York, I spent a lot of time on Long Island. You met my friend Kevin Smith, who actually just slapped one of these groypers in the street outside the Young Republican Gala.
Oh my
God. We ran the loud majority out there on Long Island and put in so much time, so much work. We got doxxed. We got threatened by Antifa. They rushed one of our stages and tried to kill us at one point in time. I mean, it was one of these. And for what now? To watch a bunch of neo-anarchists, essentially, you look at a guy like Fuentes, you look at these kind of, and I have a strong libertarian streak, a classical libertarian streak, a Ron Paul, let the government be as small as possible, leave me alone, let me do what I want to do, libertarian streak. But you have these neo-libertarians now who are essentially just anarchists, say there should be no government, there should be no rules, there should be no this, no that. And it's like, you sound like the left. And unfortunately, a lot of these people, and I'm going to play some clips, from Shapiro and Carlson when we get back on the other side. A lot of these folks are embracing cancel culture. They believe that if you're Jewish or if you even support the existence of Israel, you should be canceled. You should be wiped off the internet. You should be, defamed and all that. And it's all justified because you think Israel has a right to exist, or you think the United States and Israel are good partners in the world, and it's disgusting. And we're going to get to all that on the other side of this break. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, wrap up hour one. Sean Farish, SD Palti. We're going to get into a lot of fun stuff. If you have a question, of course, that you'd like the former vice president and the current president of the United States to debate live on air, give us a call at 855-839-1210. We're back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started.
It's here. B101 is transformed into Philly's official Christmas station. Relax and unwind with your holiday favorites 24 hours a day, all the way through Christmas. Tell your smart speaker to play B101.
Dawn Stensland here. Happy Honda Days. You've heard me talk about my family and 7 different Piazza Hondas. You can get your clearance deals on select 2025 models at Piazza Honda, like 0.99% for 60 months on a new Honda Ridgeline. Lease a new Honda Accord for just $229 a month, or a Honda Pilot for only $399 a month, both for 36 months. Piazza Honda of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield, PIAZZA, PiazzaHonda.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
This week's Game Time Sports Update is brought to you by Bet365.
Monday night's premier matchup heads to Minneapolis this week, where they'll host San Francisco, who are riding their momentum from a statement win last week, while Indianapolis is hoping to bounce back from last week's loss and defend their home turf. This matchup is sure to be a high-stakes battle for playoff position for both teams.
When it comes to sportsbooks, Bet365 has it all. Download the Bet365 app today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be located in Pennsylvania.
Get ready. It's the Hester Chevrolet year-end sales event. Lease a new 2026 Chevy Trax 1RS, just $279 a month. Or the 2026 Chevy Equinox LT, just $339 a month. Or get power and performance for $399 a month in the 2026 Silverado 1500 LT. Visit Hester Chevrolet of Philadelphia, or check us out online at HesserChevy.com. Call 267-343-9094 for details. Together, let's drive.
Kayal Kayal and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Between email addresses, social media, apps, this, that, and the other thing, I can't keep track of all my passwords anymore. I've had to write them down on a notepad and store them in a safe place. I'm tired of having to reset my password and then get the verification email and then go in and change it. And then they tell me that it's not strong enough. Can you throw a few characters on the end? How about a money sign? Oh, don't forget the capital letters. Got to be between 8 and 12s. There's too many consonants.
Start your day with Kayal and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
There's still time to get the perfect gift. Family and Company Jewelers in Marlton is open until 3 on Christmas Eve. Do yourself a favor and get to their showroom on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey. Planning to pop the question this year? How about you stuff her stocking with a diamond engagement ring? Or if you just want a little extra action under the mistletoe, you can't go wrong with a pair of diamond stud earrings. Check off your whole list with one stop to Family and Company Jewelers, South Jersey's holiday diamond destination.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish and Esty Palti with you, otherwise known as your favorite president and your least favorite vice president. You all understand that, right? You all understand that. She really is a horrible person. Where'd she go? She's a horrible
let me
person.
be clear, Don.
Here she is.
Don, let me be clear. Look, you have me at a little bit of a disadvantage. I'm hungover, Donald. I told you I didn't want to do this early.
There's nothing new about
in
that.
the morning.
That's not a surprise to anybody. That's not a surprise to
You're
anybody. You're not hungover. You're not hungover.
husband.
You're still drunk. You understand that. You're not hungover. You're still drunk.
I wish I was, Donald. I ran out of Hennessy hours ago. You should try.
Have you no empathy, man? Have you no
empathy, Donald? I really think you should pop your cherry just for the Christmas season, right? I mean, how dare you celebrate Christmas to begin with? How dare you? But since we're here,
I got along very well with Santa. I got along very well with Santa. I don't get along well with a lot of fat people, but I get along well with him. He's a great guy. He really is a tremendous person.
Santa Claus. You don't
I call
know
him
Santa
Chris, or I call him Nick. They call him Chris Kringle. I call him Saint Nick. He's a great person. And we were going to send, believe it or not, you don't know this.
Why did you a video of
and they were doing
Joe
everything
Biden.
up and up. We did a tremendous job.
Why did you send me a video this morning of Joe pooping in front? I don't need to see that, Donald.
Well, that's something that happened in front of the Pope. We all understand that. I got to ask you a question. On a serious. How did you react, you personally, when you saw Kamala Harris bust out the Jamaican accent with Stephen Colbert? Like, what were you just like, thank you? Like, because I know when Donald Trump does some fun stuff for me, and he dropped an F-bomb on TV that a couple months ago.
Yeah,
I was like, this is. He gives me so much material. That Kamala Harris gives you, I would imagine, in that what 107 days, gave you so much. And you were doing that before she was the VP, but like, how awesome is that?
I thought people were messing with me. I thought that people. When I opened X and I saw her break down into that accent, I thought it was like AI and somebody. And I'm just like, how is this the gift that keeps on giving? How can she sit there and give me unlimited material day after day, endless accents? And the Jamaican accent was horrifying. It wasn't even a good accent. Have you no empathy, man? And it's the freaking confidence for me. It's the confidence of her sitting there looking at Steven like, and then she does this thing, right? I don't know if you guys noticed this. I noticed this, sadly, because I have to. It's part of the occupational hazard. She'll say the most ridiculous out-of-pocket thing when she goes, have you no empathy, man? Yeah, I did that. And it's like, what did you do? What did you do? You blubbering buffoon. What did you do? No one in their right mind would even call that a decent accent. And she sits there with that ridiculous grin. And and you know what? People around her is like, they'll laugh along. So I think that, they are just as much as responsible for deluding her into believing that she could do this job, that she was anything other than, unqualified. And that was the problem. I think it was her ego. It got to her head. And she was on these stages. What killed me was the pastor. The Jamaican accent was funny, but when she started
with the joy cometh in the morning, you talking about?
Oh my freaking God. Because she was saying it like a pastor, but she was angry, but it was talking about joy. There were so many emotions I experienced watching that. And like you said, there were people sending me these clips and I'm like, I can't juggle these fast enough. There's so much to do here and so much to unpack. And I don't even have to make them make sense. She's definitely been she's been a joy. She's been a joy. She's been such a good, joyful warrior.
There was a clip of her. There was a clip of her with Univision. That's my favorite, Kamala, where she puts the Spanish accent on, and she's talking to a woman who I guess was impacted by a hurricane, and she's just like, "Is your family okay? Is your house okay?" I'm just like, how do you get away with this? Because I can tell you, I mean, you saw what happened when Donald Trump made a meme.
It's gonna be okay. Senor compadres.
Mi casa, su casa, right? Mi casa, su casa.
My brothers and sisters, it's gonna be okay.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I want to get back to AmFest real quick and kind of contrast these two. They both gave very long speeches. I pulled a clip from each. The biggest and most viral clip. Ben Shapiro at AmFest. Let's go to Ben Shapiro. It's about a minute long or so. And he's calling out, the conspiracy stuff. And I look, the word conspiracy theory or the phrase conspiracy theory to me is like a dirty word because a lot of times it's used to discredit somebody who is telling the truth. And I flash back to COVID and I was in New York for that. And I remember being called a conspiracy theorist because I was like, hey, the mask doesn't work, right? Like there's no way that somebody's old pair of boxers that I can buy for 25 cents a cloth in CVS is going to stop what you're calling a super deadly, scary pandemic virus, right? And they're like, no, you have to trust the experts. You're like a conspiracy theorist. It absolutely came from a bat. And I was like, I don't think it did, but that's okay. So here's Ben Shapiro basically laying waste or calling out the fact that people are too easily duped by these quote unquote conspiracy theories. And that's not to say every conspiracy theory is fake. Matter of fact, the quote unquote conspiracy theorists over the last couple of years have had a pretty good track record. But the ones that are floating around right now in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination are just ridiculous. So let's roll this one, Phil, from Ben Shapiro from AmFest.
It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder, then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name. Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning. And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice. The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly.
And I have to say this about it, right? Like, I mean, again, I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro. It's not that I dislike him. He's just not my cup of tea. I don't consume his content. I never have. I like to call him the gateway drug to conservatism, right? Like when people are starting to make their way over to the right, you start with Ben Shapiro and then you go further and further. And it's like, he's like alcohol. And then you start going into the other, the other brands of, and I'm not saying it's bad for you or anything, but, I call him the gateway drug to conservatism. But just because I'm not the biggest fan of his eagerness to go to war in the Middle East or to be involved in the Middle East, not just to help Israel, but, meddling in these other countries. But I look at that objectively, right? We take those feelings aside and I say, the biggest thing I can key in on here is he says it's our moral obligation to call it out. And I can't disagree. Now, there are people that will say he shouldn't have done it on that stage. I think he should have done it on that stage because it's the only time
to do it.
He has to, because that's the organization that's in the crosshairs of all this right now. It's Turning Point USA, and it's everybody in that circle. If he does it on his own show, only his audience is going to hear it. If he does it in front of the Turning Point USA audience, you're going to reach a broader coalition of people, right? I mean, or should he not have done that? I think he was well within his right to do it. People will say, well, Charlie wouldn't have wanted the division, but he would. I think Charlie would have wanted the debate. And the only way it was going to happen is if somebody came out and said something and he said something. So
it's just one of those things where you got to understand it's going to be uncomfortable to hear. But I think he actually said it in the perfect place. I think it needed to be said, and you said it perfectly. I mean, if he says it to his own audience, it's an echo chamber. But Turning Point right now, it's a very, very critical period for them. It's everything that's happening right now. It's either going to make or break Turning Point USA, and I really think that we should focus on that moral obligation as to what will happen in honor of Charlie. That's really what I think that they need to do. They need to sit down and figure it out. They need to sit down and figure it out and stop attacking each other and stop breaking up the party, because midterms are coming up and they think, this is a big deal. And I was saying it before we cut to break, but Tim Pool said it on his podcast, whether you're a fan of his or not, he shreds Candace Owens. He tears her apart, and he actually holds her somewhat responsible and says that, if we lose the midterms, this is on you. This is on you because you have everyone going crazy with your ridiculous conspiracies that it's, possibly the French government. Then it was Mossad at some point. I still have no idea where she came. Yeah, where did she grab this whole, what's her issue with Macron anyway, and the wife or husband? I don't know what is going on.
She thinks Brigitte Macron is a man, and this is what I was saying. How
does that even happen? How does she latch onto this and make it a thing? And it's like a talking point for her. Almost.
It's because there was a rumor that spread in France that she was a man. And this is what Candace does. And you said it last segment. And I'm so happy you said this, right? She is a contrarian by default. Yep. That is her brand. If you look at her and you look at a lot of these characters, and honestly, it's not just the woke right. It's really a lot of what I call the podcast class. And I have a podcast too, and I dabble into drama, and I go and I talk and I say these things. But when you look at her and the role that she's playing, and you look at this very similar to let's say WWE, right? Where every wrestler has a character and plays a role. She is the person who swims upstream. First, she was a black conservative, right? And it was like, that's upstream. That's unheard of. Now it's like, oh, she's questioning Israel. And it's like, that's on her. And then my favorite talking point is, oh, she's saying the things we're not allowed to say. Then why is she allowed to say it, right? We're allowed to say these things. And just like when you say something ridiculous, I'm allowed to come out and say, I think it's ridiculous. Candace Owens and these folks that are out there on the what I call the woke right, and what many people call the woke right. It's not just me. James Lindsay was talking about that. You said Tim Pool just came out and criticized her. The only thing they're accomplishing right now by deflecting attention away from the alleged assassin Tyler Robinson and his alleged motives, and we have to say alleged because he's not on trial yet. He's presumed innocent until proven guilty. I think he did it, right? Based off of what I said, and they're like, oh, well, you believe Fed slop. I'm like, no, I believe that a radical leftist killed Charlie Kirk because the radical left hates Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, it makes sense
they're
for that.
like, oh, you believe Brigitte Macron's a woman? I'm like, I do. I just think she's an ugly woman. That doesn't mean she's a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is, and she latches onto these things and monetizes these things. That's why she's being sued. So, again, I'm not the biggest Shapiro fan. I'm not his advocate. I'm not his defense attorney. But for everybody who wants to say, well, Tucker should be allowed to say what he wants and free speech and all that, they sure are acting very different when it comes to Ben Shapiro. And they're not disagreeing with what he said. They're disagreeing with who said the thing, simply because of who said the thing. And I said it in the first segment. I was talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, and they said, that part of the movie. So why don't we do what Captain Sparrow wants? Because it was Captain Sparrow who said it, but it would have been the right thing. The ironic thing was that would have been the right thing, right? So a lot of people are doing this. It's Trump derangement syndrome. There's Ben derangement syndrome. There's Israel derangement syndrome. There's, at the end of the day, focus on what the person is saying, how the person is saying it, the evidence that the person is bringing to the table. Don't just say, because this person said it, it must not be true because this person is a fraud. I mean, credibility, yes, impacts my judgment when I look at somebody saying something, whether or not I trust them. But simply because someone said it. If Kamala Harris came out tomorrow and said water was wet, up is up, down is down, and gravity exists, I would say, okay, she's right, even though she's probably drunk and just spewing some stuff out. We will get to Tucker's speech, or a clip from Tucker's speech on the other side of this as we wrap up hour one here. Hour two will be underway shortly. You're listening to Sean Farish and SD Polity here on 1210 WPHT. We'll be back with more right after this.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
When you go on vacation, does it make sense to have someone else pack for you? Of course not. The same for your retirement. Your 401k, things you don't know about or even need. If you're close to retirement but don't have a plan customized to your goals, that's kind of like taking a 30-year vacation with no idea what's in your suitcase. Seems like a stressful way to start what should be a relaxing time. Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group can help you unpack your savings plan to help reduce future taxes, along with a clearly defined income strategy. Call Jim at 610-894-415 for a complimentary retirement game plan, or visit retirereadyfg.com. That's 610-894-7415.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to nordvpn.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Imagine actually feeling merry, bright, and genuinely healthy this holiday season. With Rescue, that feeling starts now. Going on today, the Deck the Hall sale lets you save up to 78% off on high-quality, research-backed natural supplements so you can feel your best. Enjoy every festive moment. Formulas are crafted with purity, potency, and real science behind every capsule. That's why customers rely on Rescue for their essentials. Powerful omega-3s, doctor-recommended cholesterol support, gentle but effective pain relief, advanced probiotic blends, and natural age-defying formulas that help you stay vibrant from the inside out. This season, give yourself the gift of feeling good. Stock up, save big, and step into the holidays with the confidence that comes from supplements made with integrity and backed by decades of results. Ordering is easy. Just go to res-q.com or call a Rescue product consultant 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, online at res-q.com for up to 78% off this holiday season.
Every man should have their health optimized. Forte Men's Health offers a unique approach, providing individualized solutions that address a wide range of critical issues. Dr. Michael Atanasio supports you with cardiovascular disease prevention, improvement in erectile dysfunction, testosterone replacement and enhancement, nutrition counseling, and weight control, all in one place. Reduce the need for multiple specialists. Visit ForteMen'sHealth.com and make an appointment today for personalized health care. ForteMen'sHealth.com. With one doctor, one location for life. ForteMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Claire Haver, a board-certified OBGYN and menopause specialist. My new podcast, Unpaused, is the place for bold, unfiltered conversations about what it really takes for women to thrive in the second half of life. Every week, I sit down with medical experts, cultural icons, and powerhouse women to talk about what really matters. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Listen to and follow Unpaused with me, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
$7:04 on this 22nd day of December. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish and Esty Palti filling in here on Kayal and Company up until 10 o'clock in the morning here. Good morning, Philadelphia. You crazy people, all you do is boo. All you do is boo, you know. But
Good morning. Good morning.
There she is.
What
Very
is
close to
zooming
the
in like
camera
that?
now. Look at that. Look at how close she is to the camera. Holy cow. She went all the way up in there. Very, very crazy. Very crazy. YouTube.com/1210WPHT. We're rolling here. Second hour of this 4-hour marathon between Don and Kamala Harris hosting radio together, mixing in some of the recent developments out there at Turning Point USA America Fest. We played Ben Shapiro last segment. This segment, I'd like to get to the other side of the equation here, which is Tucker Carlson. Esty called him Tucker Catarlson, and I think aptly, I think appropriately. I don't know if he's an agent of Qatar or Farah or all this other. But
I can't stand how cute he is around it. I can't stand how cute he tries to be
very
around
cute around it, right?
Isn't he? It's so nauseating. Who said Qatar is our enemy? As far as I'm concerned, Qatar's our ally. Who said that? Israel? Israel's our ally? I don't know. I never. Shut up.
Yeah, you know what?
Up,
I see a trend here.
Adorable. It's not adorable.
I see a trend here. You have an aptitude for impersonating people who cackle.
Yes.
It's the best.
That is what
Tucker
we are
Carlson.
Folks. Yeah, I can do it. I can do the Tucker.
You do it very well. Between Tucker and Kamala, very good at it. Here's let's get into this.
Kamala was more difficult actually. Her cackle is hard because it starts deep in the gut, and you have to show all 87 of her teeth to get the pitch right. It's really, but I've mastered it. I want to say I mastered the cackle.
That's true. I've heard you cackle, and I don't know who it is. I'll be honest. I don't know who it is. And this is one of my favorite comments I get all the time is like, if I close my eyes, it sounds like, and I think part of that when I started doing
you mastered, Sean, you mastered when Trump's voice gets really low. That always takes me out because you go like, we're going to do golf, right? We're doing
Never going to do that, right? Yeah, you understand?
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
My God,
We're
you
gonna go
have
play
mastered
golf. We're
not
gonna go 18 holes, right? You understand that? Everybody understands because he
you
kind of
mastered
speaks.
that.
He goes under. Well, the thing is, people are like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, one, I'm from New York, so like we have the same kind of accent, thought process, etc." But I watched him a lot, because I like Trump. So I watched him a lot and started using it
And he's
to
a
sell when I
character
was.
too. He gives you massive material. He's such a character.
Oh, forget it. He showed up at McDonald's last year during the campaign. I said, "This is great," because I was already going through drive-throughs ordering like that, so it worked out no problem. Let's get to Carlson. All right, Tucker Carlson out there in Amfest. We heard Ben Shapiro last segment talking about how everyone with a microphone, right? In other words, for folks with a voice, have the obligation to call out, falsehoods or these, malfeasance, misfeasance, whatever you want to call it. And it's not about being the speech police, and it's not about being, if you don't say everything that I want you to say, you're this, that, or the other. But I mean, I like to say I'm an equal opportunity enforcer in that respect. If you're on my side or not, if I think you're BSing me, I'm going to say something, right? I mean, it's like, don't attack people on the right. Well, if people on the right are going to be saying things that are going to make me look bad, and I'm going to say, hey, stop saying those things because you're making me look bad because I'm getting lumped in with people like you. Here is Tucker Carlson at Amfest. Let's roll this portion of his speech. Go ahead.
Most people agree with that. Most Americans have more in common with each other than they disagree on. And almost everybody agrees on that. And almost everybody is willing to tolerate a good faith argument about how to get there. Except a few. And they're the ones running around calling everyone an anti-Semite. But everyone else is like, yeah, of course, that should be the debate. And they'll vote for you. They want that because they know they haven't had that. That's the fact. And what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims, it's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republicans. What the hell are you doing? What you're doing is trying to divide the country. And I've lived through 50 years of this crap. All these fake race wars that they're always promoting. Oh, go hate each other while we loot the treasury. That's exactly what's going on. And most people are totally sick of that. So, yes, there is a possibility for a huge coalition of decent people once they free their minds from the traps set for them by others and realize, wait a second, we all want to make this country better. And the 15% or 30% who don't, okay. Good luck in Maryland or wherever you wind up. But the rest of us would like to fix it.
I don't see people attacking Americans or attacking people simply because they're Muslims. I don't see that. I see a lot of people criticizing some of the Muslim, some of the Islamic doctrine. I see them criticizing some of the contents of the Quran. I do, however, see online especially people criticizing people simply for being Jewish or just accusing people of being Jewish and using that as an insult. Where is that Tucker Carlson logic? Where is it? Where does that logic apply? With regards to Jewish Americans, right? If you wear a Star of David, you're a shill for Israel, and you're subverting this, that, and the other, and the Talmud, and all of this, right? And Epstein and the Mossad, and everything goes back to the Jews. But I hear that, that Islam is the victim here. And unfortunately, I can agree with, I don't care what race, color, creed, religion, whatever it is you practice. I go back, Martin Luther King, content of character. Are you a good person? If you are, I don't have a problem with you. Even if we disagree on politics, right? If you're a decent person and you think your ideas are better than my ideas and we could talk about it, I don't have an issue. I may disagree with you, but I don't have an issue. But that's not what's happening. And he mentions, people want that good faith argument. Do you see people like Tucker Carlson, Esty, making these arguments in good faith? Because I don't.
There's no way that that's in good faith. And I'll tell you why this is really dangerous and why people like Tucker Carlson I don't know if they're doing it intentionally and he doesn't understand. Nobody's attacking Islam. I don't know anyone that is out here like, hey, this is a peaceful religion. It's not peaceful. They're lying to you. Definitely there are people that are actually for the real Islamophobic, but that word has been hijacked and it's been pegged at people that have a problem with extremism. Extreme jihadism is a big problem and it's a problem for the West. And when you have 20 to 25% of a religion where there's already 1.8 billion people in the world that are Muslim. All right, this is just the statistics. Statistically speaking, when 25% are extreme Muslims, that's the size of America. There are many people that want to see the eradication of the West. Now, if you look at Europe, Tucker, if you look at Europe, you're going to see real quick why it's a problem for you to gloss over things like that and demonize the other side. And this is exactly why, because you are aiding and abetting a takeover. At the end of the day, it's statistical. If these people continue to reproduce and their whole viewpoint is Islamic jihad, I'm not talking about regular people that, practice the faith of Islam, that go to work every single day, that come home and eat dinner with their families. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about extreme Islam. And what's happening is Tucker Carlson knows and understands that. But what he does is he conflates the two to be like, since when did we have a problem? What is wrong with you guys? Why are Republicans attacking these people? No, people are frustrated with the Free Palestine movement, sir. People are frustrated with the movement of people that are sitting here screaming, pretending that they care about all these children on the other side of the world, when in reality, if you really cared, why don't you care about Congo? How come you don't care about Sudan? Where is Tucker Carlson talking about the extremist jihadis that are actually slaughtering Christians in real time? We're not talking about a war that, during a time of war, innocent people are going to die. And why did that war get started? Because Hamas attacked Israel. So that in and of itself, right? I don't understand why people are missing that point, but people like Tucker to underline it, right? So he's underlining it like, why are we attacking our good Muslim American friends? Nobody's attacking them. We're explaining that this is the Western nation, and I'm a Jew and I'm saying this. This is a Western nation. This is a Christian nation. And you cannot come over here and talk about death to the West, globalize the Intifada. We don't like this. We don't want you. You have Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, the radical left, in Congress right now, and they, America. We need to start getting those people out of our country. And that is not Israel first logic. That is America first logic. And those people that say death to the West, death to Israel, death to America, it's literally saying death to the West, meaning America and Israel together and Europe. Death to the West, Israel, America, Europe. Western values do not coincide with extreme Islam. And Tucker Carlson getting on that stage and doing that is dangerous for every single American, because the bad people that are going to use this and exploit this, they're the ones that come in here and they're going to try to take over. And if people don't believe me, they can just go ahead and look at Europe, because 20 years ago, they had their own version of Tucker Carlson's on those stages talking about, we need to assimilate, we need to help them, we need to let these people in. Don't worry, this is the way it's going to be. We're going to be more diverse. We're going to be more beautifully well-rounded for it. Guess what? There's no zones now, no rape zones over there. In Europe, there are places where people cannot even safely travel. 12,000 rapes a day. Is that the statistic right now in London? Do you think that that's something normal? And if I call that out, I'm Islamophobic? I don't think so. I think it's a dangerous game. And Tucker Carlson having the platform that he has, it's very dangerous for all Americans. That's how I feel about Tucker Carlson.
I agree. And I'll say this, and I've asked this a million times of the, America first, America only crowd. And I say, okay, you want to put America first? So do I. I don't think America only is practical, nor is it sustainable. I'm not an interventionist by any means. Like, I don't want to meddle in other countries' business if we don't have to. But I also have to be real about it and say, we can't just disconnect from the entire world, because when, we mentioned a power vacuum, if the United States removes itself from the global stage, China swoops in, and we don't want that to happen either. Okay. So there is a little bit of a wrestling match going on the global stage, the superpowers, and we are a superpower, and we want to remain a superpower, and we don't want communist China, a glorified slave state essentially, to be the dominant superpower in the world. No good. Right. But I ask the America first, America only crowd. I say, it's fine. You want to be America first. You want to be America only. I agree with you on America first. We should put our interests first and foremost, 100%. Our tax dollars should go to America interests before it goes anywhere else. But America only. And I said, I don't agree with any of that. But if you want to believe that, fine. That's on you. How does death to America and globalize the Intifada, how does that fit into your America first, America only platform? And all I get in response is, shut up, Jew. And I'm like, well, but But why can't you answer that? You parrot the Fuentes talking points. You shake the blue hat. You say, I'm America first. You say, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, and they don't take AIPAC money and they don't do this and they want to and then I ask you, how does Death to America, the people that you are defending, right? When you call Hamas a resistance group, the same way, and Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, these folks in the 80s and 90s viewed Osama bin Laden and the Mujahideen. Oh, they're freedom fighters because they're fighting against communist Russia and the Soviet Union. How do you fit their chance, their open chance, their candid chance of death to America, globalize the Intifada? How does that fit into the America First platform? The answer is it doesn't. That's the answer. It doesn't. And so that's where their arguments start to lose, they start to lose credibility there. When you look at a guy like Tucker, and you brought up Europe, it's a great point. I don't know. I don't think he's a secret jihadi, but I definitely believe at the very least, he's grifting. He knows that there's a market for what he has to say, even if what he has to say isn't for the best, isn't in the best interest of Americans who believe in the ideals, the Judeo-Christian values that founded this country, the Western values that we're about here. And I think it's toxic and I think it's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. Very dangerous. And it's dangerous for all Americans because he's putting them in a position of almost choosing, right? And it's just like you said, being Jewish, and I'm proudly Jewish, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with being proud of where you come from. And I've always been, I've always considered myself a patriot. I've always considered myself a patriot. I really have. And we can have differing opinions on certain things, whether it's about, the idea of like going into Iran, for example, back during all that stuff. But I've always understood, at the very least, without everything else, just taking away all the background noise, I've always understood just the simple statement, death to America. These people are not lying to you. They're telling you what they feel. They show you videos of beheadings. They show you all these things. They are literally teaching these children with AK-47s in their hands. And it's a very sad thing. And that is part of their culture. And extreme jihad has no place in America. And once again, it is going to be the suicidal empathy that is white liberalism that invites these people in here that is going to be the end. It's the same kind of suicidal empathy that Europe allowed in. And it's too late for Europe. Okay, this was 20 years ago. I was still a little kid, and my dad was talking about this to me. And he said, if Europe is not going to smarten up, if they don't close up their borders, in 20 years, you're going to see a complete dominance of these states. And I'm saying this from a perspective of the daughter of an immigrant. We were over here, with broken English because we weren't born here. We're watching these episodes on Russian TV, Russian news, or whatever, and we're looking at it, what's happening in Europe. And my dad was like, I don't understand how they don't see it, but this empathy is going to get them killed because people don't realize. And I come from Tajikistan. I was born in Tajikistan, and it was predominantly Muslim. Everyone was peaceful. Everyone was fine. But once it got crazy over there, once it got to the point where it was becoming more and more aggressive towards Jewish people, because like I said, they practice Sharia law, and they really do have this thing where they don't assimilate, guys. They don't assimilate. We ran out of there. When the Soviet Union collapsed, my parents were like, we can't raise our kids here. We got to leave. People don't realize that Jews literally live in exile. And everywhere we are, we get pushed out for being Jewish. We deal with persecution. We deal with all this stuff, and we quietly pick up our stuff and we leave. Do you know how disappointing it is for me to be in America after my parents set down roots and I have 3 children of my own, and we're sitting here and now my kids have to be afraid to go to school for being a Jew?
It's terrible.
The same empathy. It's the same empathy that is protecting the people that are like, death to America, free Palestine till I die. We see the protests in the streets in New York City, and it's like, what are you guys really protesting? I have a heart. I feel bad for every single child that had to have, been killed during the war. But where is your outrage for everything else going on in the world? You have hijacked this movement. It became about hatred now. Even after the ceasefire, I still see protests in the streets. You see libtards like Cynthia Nixon going out there like, oh, free Palestine, we got to get Mamdani in. This is the only way. He's young, he's fresh. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, Mamdani is so radical, too, on the other side. And I'm sorry to just wedge him in here, but we'll
get to him in a little bit, too. Yeah, we'll get to him in a little bit too. I got a couple stories out of New York. I know you're there. We will get to all that and more, including you mentioned the issues that New York's having. Mamdani. I come from New York. I'm obviously in Tennessee now. One of the biggest issues that I had in New York was the fact that they're a sanctuary state giving a lot of illegal aliens driver's licenses, which is causing a problem across the entire country. We will get to that and more when we come back here on 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish, Esty Palti here with you until 10 o'clock in the morning, getting into the nitty gritty. We're having some fun. And hey, you got a question for Kamala and Don? Give us a call, 855-839-1210. We'll get that as well when we come back. Thanks a lot, and stick right here, 1210 WPHT. We'll be back after this.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Hey, it's Nick Kayal. This holiday season, share the love of driving excellence at the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, and Atlantic City. With exceptional offers like the 2025 C-Class sedan or the 2026 GLC SUV with 1.99% financing for 36 months. And I just saw on social media that our guy Michael Steinberg from the sales department who manages our Piazza partnership just got a gorgeous new Mercedes-Benz in Westchester. So discover your Mercedes-Benz today at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, or Atlantic City.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
Beverly Pfeiffer. This is my husband, Craig Pfeiffer, and we've been with Crash Proof since 2024.
When you go with Crash Proof Retirement, you will never lose a dime, and you could only increase your portfolio. The 8% that we earned this year is our money. We get to keep it. It gives us the option of either increasing our principal or taking money out to use for travel for our grandchildren. We have 3 grandchildren, and we love spoiling them with trips, with presents.
We worked hard all our life, and it's nice to be able to just sit back and just watch our money grow.
Schedule an appointment or register for the next Crash Proof Retirement Educational event happening at the Copperfield Inn in Limerick, PA on Wednesday, January 14th by calling 800-722-9728 or by visiting crashproofretirement.com.
This Merrill Reese update is brought to you by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865.
The Eagles get back to work today, and they do so as NFC East champions. They took care of business Saturday night, beating the Washington Commanders 29-18. That locked up the division for the second year in a row. The Eagles fought back from a few first half mistakes, and then they ran away with it in the second half. On Sunday, they play the Bills in Buffalo. With the Eagles, this is Merrill Reese.
Football fans don't just watch the game, they live it. From pregame rituals to postgame celebrations, PNC is proud to be presenting sponsor of the Eagles Radio Network and a devoted fan just like you. Fans who show up in full force in every kind of weather, because keeping your finances boring allows you to make exciting memories full of face paint, tailgates, and all the things that make game day. PNC Bank, brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Drive in with Kayal and Company mornings 6 till 10. Drive home with Rich Zioli afternoons 3 till 7. Live and local on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
727 on the East Coast. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish, SD Polity with you here until 10 a.m. Eastern Time. This portion of the show brought to you by Wawa. The holidays are here, and so are Wawa's holiday beverage. Sip into the season with a new caramel sugar cookie iced latte, a peppermint cookies and cream smoothie, or a hot peppermint mocha. But hurry, holiday flavors are only available while the season lasts. So get over to Wawa. I love Wawa. We thank Wawa for sponsoring that portion of the show. Esther, you ever been to Wawa before? You ever have a Wawa before? Oh, I can't hear her. I don't hear her. I don't hear a word. It's probably one of the only times, you know, that she's muted. I can't hear a word. I can't hear a word she's saying.
I'm sorry. Look, Donald,
It's too early for the drinking, you know that? She was way too drunk.
I was telling everybody, look, if you're into Wawa, you gotta try it. If you add a little bit of vodka, it's amazing. Ask Nancy. Don't take my word for it. Ask Nancy. It's our favorite
knows too
drink.
much
Mix
about
that
it.
with a little bit of eggnog, and it's the holiday season to beat.
Speaking of Nancy, here's her teeth. Right there, there's her teeth right there. She's got the teeth.
She retired before she can give me the liquor cabinet key. I'm upset about that. If you see her, Donald, you
boy.
let her know I'm looking for her.
I'll be sure to tell her about it if I can find her. She doesn't like me too much. I like Wawa. I've been to Wawa, but I lived in Jersey for a year, and we had it there. There's no Wawa in New York, but now they're coming to right here to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's a gas station convenience store type deal, but it's really good. They have great sandwiches. They got really good donuts. The coffee is good, and it's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of Wawa. They say gotta have a Wawa. It's in Florida. They have them in Pennsylvania. They have them in Jersey. We're getting them in Tennessee. We're getting 3 here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which I'm very excited about. You know, I come from New York. I know that's where you're at. And, one of the issues that I've had when I was there is the traffic. Obviously, it was all the traffic's real bad. Yeah, it's real bad. But the Green Light Act, Cuomo and now Hochul, and we'll get to Stefanik. She dropped out of the race, like out of nowhere. Now it's Bruce Blakeman's going to be the front runner. He's picking up endorsements left and right. But they were giving all these illegal aliens driver's licenses, right? And I'm like, well, that's the last thing we need in New York are more people on the road. And by the way, people on the road who don't understand the language that the road sign is printed in. I want to show you. I don't know if you saw this, because California does the same thing with their sanctuary, their sanctuary states. California is reissuing 17,000 CDLs despite federal noncompliance. You have to be able to speak English proficiently in order to have a commercial driver's license. So they're giving 17,000 CDLs back to people, that are non-compliant with this. And I want to show you this one clip from Oklahoma. It's a couple weeks old, but this is a wild clip. And these are some of the folks that are on the road here in the country. Again, I don't have a problem. Legal immigration. You come in, you assimilate, learn the language, bring value to the country, contribute to the country. I don't like taxes, but if I got to pay them, so do you if you come here, right? But this is out of Oklahoma, and it's bizarre. Watch, first of all, tires come flying off of this truck that's being driven by somebody who can't communicate English. That could go right through a windshield and kill somebody. It's a miracle that didn't happen. But watch the conversation that happens between this what I believe to be an illegal alien and a police officer. Let's roll this clip out of Oklahoma. Okay, so for everyone listening on radio, you got tires bouncing down the highway here. Cops got to avoid them. Okay, the cop pulls over. He's avoiding a couple more tires now. Got to avoid those tires. Pulls over onto the shoulder. The cop gets out. Okay, there's a couple of officers on the scene here. It's on a highway, so another couple people driving by. But the worst part is when we get to, here we go. The worst part is when we get to the conversation. That's what takes place. Listen.
Living?
Yeah.
To Dallas.
So where do you live?
In Dallas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How long you been living in Dallas? No, is that where you're going?
Yeah, going.
Where do you live at? Where do you live?
From Indiana.
Indiana? You live in Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Huh?
Yesterday.
Okay. Yesterday? Oh, okay.
I'm living yesterday.
Where do you live? Where's your home residence?
Live?
Yeah.
I'm from New York.
New York? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
New York.
How long you been living in New York?
2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, 2 more.
Okay. You been living in New York for 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you move from?
Moved from?
Yeah.
What?
Then when you moved to New York?
I'm September.
I mean, I have no idea what he said, and this is the problem.
This
right?
guy is definitely from Uzbekistan or Tajikistan. I can literally hear it in his voice. I could hear the accent.
Okay.
And these are very hardworking people. They definitely come here to make a bag. And I assure you, it is not to spend here. They send all that. Now, listen, I'm not trying to make a general statement of every single illegal that comes here, but I can tell you right now, just living in New York, being from that part of the world, I could hear it in the accent. I can assure you, I bet my left kidney on it that it's definitely an Uzbek national or a Tajik national. It's one of Dagestan's people, Habib. It's genuinely the same kind of Borat situation. It's just they're all,
Right.
imaginary lines all over the place, but more or less the same thing. And yeah, they don't speak a word of English. They have no plans to assimilate. I know some of them that lived over here for 30 years already, as long as my family's been in New York, and they still don't speak a word of English. They have no intention to. They're on the phone all day nonstop with their countrymen from back there, and they help their countrymen come over here. There's a lot of smuggling going on. They get them in here and they say, "I'm going to get you a job. Don't worry." The funniest thing is that we ran away from there, right? They hated Jews over there. And I see this a lot. They will work for Jews over here. They will work for them. While secretly hating them, they'll work for Christians. They'll work, and it's not just Jews. They'll work for people, and they take all that money and they send it back to their country, and they live like kings over there. I can tell you right now, Sean, I've seen it. I'm partly responsible of one of those people. I admit it. I don't pretend like I'm not flawed. They know our food, they know our culture, they know everything. And at some point, when it was very, very expensive, there was a woman that I found out much later that she was illegally here, but that's why she was so cheap. But she was like kind of like a nanny situation for me. And when I did the math, I was just like, why is she not as expensive as you would imagine? And then I realized it's because she's taken that money, it's hard cash. She's sending it back to her home country over there. It was only for like a couple of months, the situation. And she really showed me the ins and outs of this. And when I started talking to her about it, she was like, I mean, we all have to do this. We don't have jobs over there. There's no job market for us there. We come here, we absolutely exploit. Absolutely. She's like, that's what we love America. And I remember her telling me how she really didn't want Trump to win. This was years back when my kids were small. And I was like, why not? And she's like, oh, your Trump closes the border for us. He makes it a problem for us to come over there. But Biden, God bless him, I have relatives that got over there using the border, and they actually paid a hell of a lot less money than me and my family did when I had to come through. She's like, she overstayed her visa. She was one of those. She actually got the paperwork. She just decided to overstay. But she's talking about how she got a bunch of her family members, especially truck drivers, people that knew how to drive. But that's it. That was as far as their skill went. They knew how to drive a car on a mountainside over there. And they have this like notion of like, don't worry about it. I can do it. We're hard workers. Whatever you throw our way, we're going to do it. We need money. And they have, like I said, no plan to assimilate. You can tell this guy in the video barely speaks English, doing God knows what. They have no plans to even follow the rules here, follow the laws, and they will kill someone. And they have. I've seen somebody do this recently where I think he did like a U-turn, one of these CDL drivers. He did a U-turn and like a bunch of cars slammed into the actual truck. And he didn't even have any remorse. He was just kind of standing there. People don't understand. A couple of those. They have to take into consideration that it's loss of life is very normal in a third world. Loss of life is a normal thing. Okay. If you have a baby, you can go get them vaccinated in another third world country. There is a 50-60% chance that baby is not going to make it. And those moms are aware of this risk. And they're kind of like, oh, I had a baby die from childbirth. I had a baby die from a vaccine. I'm just giving you this as context. It's normal over there.
It's valuable.
It's normal over there. So that's why this guy, when he was standing over there and I saw these clutch pearling content videos and the people crying, devastated, rightfully so, saying, how can he stand there with no remorse? And me as somebody that, came from a third world country that genuinely understands the logic of these people and their behavior, I could sit there and tell you, like, okay, but do you understand they don't value life like a regular normal person over here would? Do you understand that for them, like, working is a means to an end? It's survival. They don't care about rules and regulations. They don't have stuff like
And
that
that
over
comes.
here. I mean,
That's what you were saying. How it's not compatible with the West, where we're a
not.
Christian nation, Judeo-Christian nation. We do value life. We certainly value life more so than many other places in the world. My biggest problem is, you have this guy, in the window of the police car, and he asked that the officer asked him 3 times, where are you from? And he gave 3 different answers: Dallas, New York, and Indiana. And it's just like, and then he says, well, where'd you come from before you went to New York? And I saw people when that clip came out a couple of weeks ago, that's a racist thing to ask. No, it's not. He said he was in New York for 2 years. So the officer said, where were you before that? Because he's obviously older than 2 years old. And he said something. I don't know what he said, but it was not good. And I look at that and say, we have to share a roadway with folks like this. I mean, I get you're working hard. No
Why
problem.
are you criticizing and saying anything is racist? This is the political
Right.
correctness that's going to get all of us killed. It pisses me off. Why? Why do you need to even do that? Why do you need to underline, like, oh, you don't want to hurt the poor illegals' feelings? What are you talking about right now? You're talking about, listen, we have rules and laws for a reason. Take the feelings
Correct.
out of it. This obsession with the emotional sensitivity that we should apparently possess towards these people, it doesn't even make any sense. Why is that a racist thing to even ask? And why do we have people? That's the problem. The people that are saying things like that are racist. Those people are a problem. Those people are a problem. We have to stop with the political correctness. It is going to get our entire nation bamboozled in the worst way, and it's already happening. It's already happening.
It's already happening. And you're seeing, you said the E word, right? You said exploit. And these people, they understand they're coming here and they're exploiting, not just the opportunity, but they're exploiting this country. You mentioned the open border with Biden. The woman that you were speaking about, did not want Donald Trump to win the election because she was going to lose that opportunity. And that's what's terrible about that is there is an American somewhere who would do that job and would do it for a higher wage, right? Because, you don't have the law on your side. The illegals can kind of undercut the wages. I used to sell paint. I would be lying if I told you some of my contractors maybe hired some people they shouldn't have hired and did so because those folks weren't necessarily protected by labor laws in this country because they weren't supposed to be here, right? And so, Marjorie Taylor Greene even admitted that a couple of weeks ago when she said that the construction industry is dominated by things like this. Again, America first, America only, except that. But my problem is when it comes to this, it's safety. And when you're dealing with the roadways, when you're dealing with highways, when you're dealing with, families in vehicles, school buses, whatever it is, you mentioned the tractor trailer that took out a couple of people in Florida, killed people in Florida. And this Indian illegal alien in the truck was like, okay. And it's people are saying, how could he be so emotionless? And then you contextualized it perfectly and said, listen, in the third world, in countries like this, it's not a big deal. And that's the problem, because in this country, it is a big deal. And if you're going to come here and you're going to be that careless with other people's lives in this country, we don't want that.
Look how they treat rape. Look how they treat rape.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen one of these interviews?
100%
They're
right.
literally like, well, I couldn't help myself. Like, what do you mean? She was in front of me. She has no right to be in front of me. There's a case right now in Pakistan where a girl was raped. And do you know what the punishment was agreed upon? The punishment was going to be that, you know what? The victim's brother gets to now rape the rapist's
Unbelievable.
Sister.
And
That's
we're being
what
told,
was fair.
bring them in, right? Be sympathetic to that? Absolutely not. For all the people who will accuse folks like you, folks like me of quote unquote covering for pedophiles over the Epstein stuff,
Yeah.
they sure are quiet about a certain group of people in the world who, think that if you happen to have sex with a 9-year-old, it's all right, because it's just their customs, and absolutely not.
I mean, you see it all over New York City. The ultimate Red Green Alliance. When I see trans from when I saw either trans for Palestine, that was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I mean, if these people understood that they would be the first to get inshallah off a roof in Gaza, they probably wouldn't be over there protesting about things like that. And I've seen
Correct.
some really comical clips of liberals and a pro-Palestine crowd, and they're standing there on the same side chanting this and that. And one of them was like, yeah, trans rights. And you know, one of them was like, Kafia turns around to him and he goes, no, bro. We don't do that over here. No, like definitely that too. And the guy's like, what do you mean? No, like I stand with you. And they're like, what? Like we had no idea that you're a man pretending to be a woman. And it turned so quick. And if, you know, there's a part of my soul that did feel bad for the guy for a split second. But then there's the other part that's like, this is what you get. This is what you deserve. Do you not understand that your need to virtue signal is going to get you killed? And this is exactly that perfect example. It is the perfect red-green alliance. We're seeing it across the world. The same people that will be the first ones to kill you, those are the ones that you're sitting there and you're supporting. And they do not assimilate, and they will stand firm on their beliefs. And they absolutely believe that it's appropriate to marry a 9-year-old. And those same people that are going to protest alongside with them are going to say, well, you can't say Islamophobic because that hurts people's feelings. It's ridiculous. Like, yeah, you can marry a 9-year-old, but hey, don't hurt their feelings.
That's right. It is ridiculous. And we do not need more of that in our country. When we come back, I've got a clip out of Massachusetts, a mayor in Massachusetts, another one of these just bizarre clips. Unbelievable that we even have to address it, but we do have to address it. And we will get to that when we get back right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish, Esty Palti filling in for Kayal and Company as we wrap up hour 2. When we come back, don't go anywhere. 855-839-1210 if you want to ask a question and get the two political rivals at each other's throats again, because we could do it if you want to do that. And we'll do that when we get back at 855-839-1210. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
Does the world seem like it's just gone insane? I mean, bat crap, crazy, insane? I bet you think it does. Everybody seems to have lost their mind. Well, it's Christmas. I'm Eric Erickson. It's time to actually get up to 50,000 feet and look down to see the forest from the trees. What really matters? Why does it matter? And how can we process the insanity around us and use the Christmas story to do it? Listen Christmas Eve at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
B101 is spreading holiday cheer throughout Philly. Tune in for the soundtrack to your Christmas season, featuring all the holiday songs you love. Christmas music all day, every day, only on B101, Philly's official Christmas station.
Searching for a new path to wellness? Dr. Molly Fantasia explains how medical hydration therapy can help you reclaim your energy. Listen to Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is the energy of the Acura RDX. The energy of performance and adventure. With super handling all-wheel drive. The Acura RDX. This is the energy of innovation. Acura. Precision crafted performance.
Visit Piazza Acura of Ardmore, Reading, or Westchester for a test drive today.
Free speech lives here with Kayal and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back as we wrap up hour 2 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish, Esty Palti with you until 10 o'clock in the morning here on the nation's greatest radio station, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always fun as we roll into the holidays. You know, I've got one I've been looking forward to. Maybe I'll give you a little. Feliz Navidad. You know that? Feliz Navidad. And I rewrote
How
it.
dare you speak Merry Christmas, Don? How dare you say Feliz Navidades to the Jose's and the Enriques? How dare you?
And don't forget the Rodriguez and the Lopez, too. These are great people. But we
And
call it,
Guadalupe.
instead of Feliz Navidad, excuse me,
Jesus,
when
scrub
we
your
call it
toilets,
Feliz
Donald. You should be
Navidad,
ashamed of yourself.
we call it Feliz Deportad, right? We're going to deport the hell out of all these people. It is going to be tremendous. We say, Prospero viaje y no vuelvas. That means have a nice trip and don't come back. There it is. I want to
have you no empathy, man.
Well, I got along very well with Bob Marley. You know him? He's a tremendous
You
guy.
didn't-
I gave
you
him the
didn't-
dreadlocks. They wanted to give me the dreadlocks. You know that big, beautiful golden dreadlocks. And but we didn't do that. It would have been 24 karat gold dreadlocks. Would have looked tremendous. would look like golden Medusa. Yeah, I got along well with Medusa too. Snakes. Incredible job. I'm going to play this clip out of Massachusetts. This is crazy. This is crazy. There's a mayor in Massachusetts, okay? And some court proceeding going on. It's all over X right now. But this is a mayor, an elected, you don't just get named mayor. You get elected mayor in any office around the country, but you get elected. Mayor Brian DePena needed a translator to participate in proceedings in court. Lawrence, Massachusetts, Mayor Pena needed a translator. This is, again, I don't care if you come from another country and you want to be proud of your culture, you want to come here and celebrate your culture at home and speak that language. Melania Trump speaks a gajillion languages. That doesn't matter to me. But when you come into the United States of America, we are an English-speaking country. I know for a while there hasn't been an official language, in the country, and Trump signed an executive order making English the official language, and how much, weight that has remains to be seen. But the hearing here in Lawrence, Massachusetts, concerned former Lawrence Police Chief William Castro, a political ally of Mayor DePena, who was stripped of his policing credentials following an improper police chase. Castro was accused of driving the wrong way down a city street during the chase and filing a false police report claiming he was responding to an armed bank robbery when he had actually been responding to somebody attempting to cash a bad check. It's not a bank robbery. DePena testified on Castro's behalf during the commission proceeding, but it was the mayor's request to use a translator that drew significant attention. Let's roll this clip out of Massachusetts.
So I'm advised by counsel for the respondent that they indeed encourage this and had substitution and have no objection and waive any objection they would have to the use of your services as a translator here. The division has a concern and has raised an objection based on the fact that counsel, much like me in my capacity as a hearing officer, don't speak Spanish, and therefore we're unable to decide independently whether questions are being translated both directions from the attorney and from the witness accurately. So I appreciate that objection. I do believe that under the circumstances, without objection from the respondent, we could proceed with your services. The risk is that there are many people associated with these proceedings, including the respondent himself and other people on the...
I mean, why do we put up with this? I'm trying to figure
this is so ridiculous.
This is really, a mayor.
That's
an American city.
Embarrassing.
I mean, so we talk about assimilation, right? And this guy, Latino, fine, whatever. And we were talking about, these third world countries, India, and these STAN countries, former USSR countries, and you have these Muslim countries out there and folks that are coming here, and largely when you look at Islam and the extremists, it's a religion of conquest in many aspects. They're not looking to assimilate. That's not to say that every Muslim who comes to the United States doesn't want to provide value, doesn't want to assimilate, doesn't want to love this country for what it is. But you brought up the number 20 to 30%, right? That's a very large percentage of a very large global population that believes in this righteous jihad. As a matter of fact, after the attacks in Australia at Bondi Beach, Iran came out and basically said that this was a result of the Israel-Hamas war, and they had a point, and if the tensions weren't so high, people wouldn't be driven to do this. Just because these people in Australia that were attacked at Bondi Beach, they were attacked simply for celebrating Hanukkah and being Jewish. They have nothing to do with Israel and Hamas. It's not like this was a
that's what
protest
globalized intifada means, and that's what people refuse to understand. That's what
Exactly.
globalized intifada. They're telling you, folks.
Exactly.
They're globalizing it, and I can't believe the people that actually came out of defense in this and continue to say this is a resistance movement. This is demonic times, ladies and gentlemen, and The Jewish people see it for what it is because this is our entire history. This is our entire history. Not to
It's
say
been
that
nonstop.
government do bad things. Yeah, but this is what globalized the Intifada is. When you have people like Cynthia Nixon in the streets of New York City chanting with them, globalizing to Intifada, that's what's going to happen. And you know why I bring up Cynthia Nixon? Because she had the audacity to sit there and make a video the other day lighting Hanukkah candles, because in her household, she states that they celebrate both Christmas and Hanukkah. And she had the audacity to sit there and talk about during these very dark times, there has to be light and less hate. Excuse me, Cynthia Nixon, you are the hate. You are the dark times. What did you think was going to happen if you're in the streets celebrating with these people every single time a Jew is killed in cold blood and you're talking about free Palestine? These people are resistance fighters. I've seen videos of Hamas terrorists being romanticized. I see videos of women on the feminist movement talking about, did you see how those hostages were batting their eyelashes? They were treated well. They ate well. What is going on? Were the gunshot wounds in Sydney, Australia also done in good taste? Is that what we're doing now? And we're gonna glorify these people? I'll tell you what, Sean, it's really sad to me because it's gonna come to New York. It's gonna come to America. And you know what the talks are? The talks are that October 7th was literally like just a preview of what they are capable of. And imagine that kind of scale, that kind of attack in every major city simultaneously at the exact same time. I've seen it. I've seen the CIA come out and say that they have intelligence, that there are sleeper cells all over America.
18,000 terrorists.
Exactly. And there are people that, you stated it, and this is a sensitive topic, and you stated this, and you said, of course, not every Muslim wants to come here and not contribute, not assimilate, all of that stuff. There are definitely plenty of people that want to come here for a better life. All right. We have good humans in the world. They come here. They want to give their kids a better place to live. They want to give them a good chance, and they want to actually get away from the extremism that has dominated their own lives. Like Iran is a beautiful example. I've met amazing Iranian Americans that live here that do not condone any of this crap that they see. But very few people will come out and not condone that stuff on the other side. However, the preview that I worry that we have seen, we've seen it time and time again. First, the World Trade Center, there was a bomb. There was a bomb in 1993 that went off.
1993.
Notice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Notice what happened. 9/11 was this was impressive for them. They were genuinely very happy. And I remember as someone in 8th grade, and this is a traumatizing event, right there with the Charlie Kirk incident, because I could see that image every time I close my eyes, sadly. But on 9/11, we all remember where we were, how we felt, especially if you were in New York or in Washington. And I remember Palestinians dancing in the street. They were so happy that America got attacked. And they were like, yes, this is only the beginning. You guys will see. It's only the beginning. This is what's coming. And I saw the exact same thing after October 7th. On October 8th, I already saw they are resistance fighters. Resisting what? What are you resisting? There is no occupation. There was never an apartheid. It's these lies that get Jewish people in trouble. And it's the lies of these people that go ahead and perpetuate attacks like Bondi Beach. That's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening when you have people screaming and chanting, globalize the Intifada. Our entire youth is indoctrinated all across Yale, all across Harvard, all across Columbia. When I see things like this, I say, hey, you guys are in for a rude awakening, because when you have your own American citizens that are young on these college campuses holding hands with these people saying, we're going to globalize the Intifada together, they don't know what they're chanting, but they're going to find out really soon if this continues.
Well, it's like when the Trojans, celebrated when the Trojan horse came into the gates. They were like, It's a gift from our enemies. It's fantastic. Yeah. And it's like, well,
Mom Donnie is that gift right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're dealing with it. What are you drinking, by the way? I saw that.
It's
you know that? I
it's
saw
Irish
that.
cream. This is a heavy topic. Don, just leave me alone. All right. Some
She's
of us
having
drink.
a lot. She's having a lot. That she's getting. It's becoming a problem, right?
I ran
she
the
has
whole
this.
damn country like this. I know what
She
I'm
does
doing.
it called. It's called 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, 4, 5 tequila, 6 tequila, 7 tequila.
No, let me be clear, Don. Let me be clear. You may have won the election. You may have won that election. You really may have. I know you cheated. I'm gonna figure it out. But even though you won that election, I'll beat you at beer pong any day, anytime. You pick a day.
I have the greatest. I have the greatest shot. I have the greatest shot in the history of the world. Think about it. I taught.
Don, you'll be flat on your back. You don't know who
Wait
you're
a
messing
minute.
with.
You may
brother.
have heard of him. You may have heard of him. Michael Jordan. You may have heard of him. Michael Motorcycle, I called him. And he's a tremendous guy. I taught him how to shoot. You know that? To shoot a basketball. Steph Curry, too. I taught him how. It's called a swoosh. It's a swoosh. It's a tremendous thing. No, I think you bring up a valid point. I do think you bring up a valid point about these folks that are coming in that want a better life. They're getting lumped into all this, but it's the universities, it's academia, it's your high schools, it's your colleges, it's these folks that are supporting something that they don't actually know what that something is. Right. It's the, chickens for Chick-fil-A. It's, the Queers for Palestine was my favorite. I said, why don't you try, if you want to do Queers for Palestine, do it in Palestine. Show them how much you love them and run that parade
pay for their ticket.
right down Main Street in
Pay for
Gaza.
their plane ticket. If any of you that are listening, I'm sure you're not, I will pay for your ticket. It won't be a round trip ticket because you won't need one, but one-way ticket
Right.
to any Muslim country of your choice, and you go ahead and you start shouting out what you believe, and you'll understand real quick. You'll understand really quick what we're talking about.
And take a look too, not just when it comes to, Queers for Palestine and this whole, backwards way of thinking. But again, it's this death to America. They're not, just because you held up a sign that said Free Palestine, just because you wore a keffiyeh a couple of times, they're still going to come for you. They will. These extremists want to either convert or kill anybody who doesn't believe what they believe in. And that you can't sell me on the fact that this is compatible with the United States of America. They say globalize the intifada, not localize the intifada, right? It's not about, we're just going to fight in Israel, Hamas, and we're going to, have our issues in some of these countries. And then you deal with, you talked about the Palestinians, the refugees, the folks over there. Oh, there's an occupation. We got to leave. Well, how come? I'll just chew on this. And when we come back, we'll come back in a little bit. But just chew on this. Why doesn't Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Libya, why don't these other Muslim countries in the region want any of the Palestinian refugees? Just chew on that. Think about that before, as we progress into hour 3. Why don't they want them? And if they don't want them, well, I got news for you. We shouldn't want those type of people coming into our country either. We'll be back to kick off hour 3. We got a little bit on John Thune and the shutdown, another government shutdown potentially coming. Are the Democrats getting ready to shut the government down again on January 30th? It looks like they may be getting ready to do that. Can Republicans prevent it by nuking the filibuster? And should they? We'll have that and more when we come back. 855-839-1210, the number to join in. Sean Farish and Esty Palti hanging out with you till 10 o'clock in the morning here on 1210 WPHT. We're back after this.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When equipment breaks down and operations come to a halt, every single second counts. So why is your maintenance team spending 60% of their time doing anything but turning wrenches? MaintainX is the AI-powered maintenance and asset management system that helps your team get back to actually fixing breakdowns. No more searching for manuals, no more hunting down parts, no more drowning in paperwork. With MaintainX, your team can access manuals from anywhere, create new procedures in minutes, and turn voice notes into clear and complete work order feedback. What used to take hours now only takes minutes. Keep your operations moving, not your paperwork. Join over 11,000 maintenance teams that are already fixing more and filing less. Try MaintainX for free today. Go to maintainx.com/AI. That's maintain and the letter x.com/AI.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 20.
For Window Nation, when I'm on the field, I'm always looking for a window of opportunity. If you're looking for a window of opportunity to replace windows in your home, now's the time.
This December, Window Nation puts an end to your window problems. You'll save big, too, with 50% off all window styles. Plus, you can get 0 interest for 5 years. Hurry, this sale ends soon, so schedule your free estimate right now at windownation.com. Tell them you heard it on 1210 WPHT.
Visit windownation.com.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
Welcome back. Hour 3 underway here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Sean Farish, S.T. Palti with you until 10 o'clock in the morning. This portion of the show brought to you by First Harvest Credit Union. Grow your savings with a growth savings account from First Harvest Credit Union. Earn up to 3.05 annual percentage yield and enjoy flexible access to your funds. Visit firstharvestcu.com/growth savings. firstharvestcu.com/growth savings for details. Membership restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA. We thank you, First Harvest Credit Union. Let's get to, we have a caller. David in South Carolina. What's up, David?
Mr. President, I want to thank you so much for bringing accountability back to the SNAP program. Now, Madam Vice President, now SNAP, you may think SNAP is something like CLAP, which you know a lot about, but just because potatoes can be in SNAP, that doesn't mean you can use it for vodka. But I do want to thank you, Mr. President, for bringing accountability back to that program.
Well, I'm going to say this. I want to thank you, David, for being a tremendous person. You're a wonderful person. Anybody who says something nice about me is a wonderful person. And I don't know. I don't want to know what she's doing with those
David,
potatoes.
I don't know.
She probably
I don't
is.
know
Excuse me. No, we'll get to you in a second. Just hang tight. You're not
Donald,
speaking. You're not allowed to speak.
To me. He was addressing me, Donald. I'm speaking now.
He was addressing
David,
you, not undressing you. You know that? So I know you were thinking something else was happening, but that's not what he was doing.
Something about clap.
David, you're not interested in that, right, David?
How did he know? That's a HIPAA violation.
Thank you very much, David. Is there anything else on your mind, David, that you want to get off your chest, or are you are you on the naughty list, or the nice list? What the hell's going on?
Oh, I'm on the best list, but I would also like to ask her, when did she learn she was African American? When did she learn that?
Dave, I come from a middle class family. All right, let me be clear. You know, I come from a middle-class family, and when I fell out of that coconut tree that very first time, well, my mother took me by the hand, and she told me all about my Jamaican roots. Yeah, man.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Vice President, thank you.
It don't matter, whatever. Whichever one gives me a nice latte color. Whichever one got me, just enough for DEI. That's how African American I am, my brother.
Thank you, David, for the call. By the way, just an aside, the middle-class family, that was perfect. It's so funny. There's that stupid response that she had to say, well, I grew up in a middle-class family where people had green lawns. What did you ever get to the bottom of what did the coconut tree thing even mean? Like,
I'll be honest with you guys. As someone that watched her, really just vigorously watched her, listen to all of these, full context, the whole nine, she doesn't make any sense. Whatever's going on in Kamala Harris's head, she's the only one that knows what's going on and she can connect the dots. And that's probably one of the reasons why she, was able to even get into politics in the first place. She's good at, speaking in circles, but I've never understood. I did uncover unburdening what has been. I know that that's a Marxist thing. So that there's some context there of why she would say that. Her father probably taught her that. But everything else about her mom, the coconut tree, the cloud above our head, the imaginary lines, studying the maps. I don't know what is wrong with this woman, but she has no business, getting behind a mic or getting on a stage. I really love her crash out moments, the ones where she like screams at people. Like, if you have something to say, you call Donald Trump because he's in the White House. He kicked my ass. I'm not over there anymore. He's over there. Go talk to him. So she's so immature. That's really the best thing I could say is her immaturity. It just peeks right through. She has no idea what she's saying. And you could tell she's full of it. She's grabbing whatever she can. And she's
one of my favorites. Children of the community are children of the community. She's just trying to fill space. Like I said, it sounds good in her head. Yeah. That's the only place it sounded good.
I'm sure she looked at Joe, though, and said, I have to be better than this guy. It's still better than this guy. At the end of the day, putting her next to Joe gave her some credibility because Joe was walking into bushes and he's talking about, free the pressure. Anything is better than that.
Listen, Jack, I no more think myself as being as old
Hairy
as I am than
legs,
fly.
my son, the war. It was just, the both of them.
I had hairy legs turn blonde in the sun. The kids rub my leg down the pool.
My son was in Iraq. Where's it's the Brady Bunch? It's like the Brady Bunch and the Addams family had a family. That's the Bidens and Harris.
Yeah, I agree. That whole administration was like out of a sitcom, out of control.
Yeah.
Let's go to call. We got Joe in South Philly. What's up, Joe?
How you doing, pal? How's
Joe
it going?
in South Philly.
How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Joe? How are you?
All right. How you been? All right, buddy?
Yeah, we've been good. How about yourself?
Good. I haven't talked to you for a long time. Yeah.
What's going on? What's on your mind?
I want to ask her a question too. After I'm done with you, what's confusing to me is these judges, federal or state, whoever, they let these people go. Many times. Why don't they go after them?
Good question. It's a good question, and I'm going to tell you what. I don't know if there's a law or a statute that they can go after these judges. I mean, there should be. That's going to require Congress, right, to put something like that in place, saying, like, let's say we propose some sort of legislation, Joe, right, where it's like, if you are a judge and you let somebody out after, whatever time it is, fifth time, third time, second time.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Right. You create the threshold, whatever that threshold will be, and this is what the process is going to have to be. But if a judge lets somebody out and they commit another violent crime, should the judge be held accountable? I say yes. Yes, because you'll have these judges making smarter decisions with these criminals, right? And I don't know, maybe this is going to be unpopular to say, okay? But, I mean, Donald Trump just rescheduled marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. I don't think you should. I would rather see the rapists, the assaulters, the burglars, the robbers sitting in prison than somebody sitting in jail for having, pot in their pocket. Violent crime. And you see these people in North Carolina, you see these people in all these other parts of the country that they have committed these, just horrific offenses multiple times, 50, 60, not talking about one arrest, two arrests, 50, 60, 70 arrests, and they're back on the street and they're killing people and they're raping people. Yes, Joe, I 100% agree. The judges, they should be able to go after them. Why don't they? I don't know, to my knowledge, if there's actually a law that they can go after them with. But I know you said you had a question for Esty, so go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I was just wondering why they never did that. They don't even talk about it.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Did you have you said you have a question for Esty too, or is it the same question?
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask her a question. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to know if you would have done the same thing that Donald Trump did in less than a year.
Oh, she's talking to the vice president, the former vice president.
Kamala? Are you asking Kamala Harris?
I'm asking Kamala, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if, look, I went over this just now, Joe. I come from middle class. I come from a middle class family. I'm not really sure what I would be able to do, but I could tell you this right now.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, he closed the window on America.
We closed the border, not the window. We closed the border, not the window. We didn't close the window. We closed the border. No, we closed the border, not the window.
Out the window. Yeah.
Listen to Joe. He's a smart guy.
America to be open. Borders, they really shouldn't exist. So,
Yeah.
Joe, I mean, if you're asking Kamala Harris, that's probably what the answer is going to be, right? Because rapists and, bad drivers with CDL licenses, they deserve a happy ending too.
Of course, yeah. Of course they do, yeah. Yeah, great.
That's what
Thank you,
America's
Joe, in
about.
South Philly.
Thank you.
Appreciate the call, Joe. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. 855-839-1210. You could be like David in South Carolina. You could be like Joe in South Philly. You could be one of the cool kids, and you can get us all riled up. It's always fun because you don't know what they're going to ask, and it's like it's like having an impromptu press conference. It's a lot of fun. So I wanted to get to, and we're gonna wind up breaking before we get to it the full way. But let's just preview this. So we had the Schumer shutdown. I called it the Schumer siesta, right? You had the Schumer siesta. We shut it down. We put sombreros on everybody, which I was shocked. I all of a sudden I'm sitting here. I'm getting ready for actually it was a Thursday night, so I was getting ready to jump on 1210 WPHT for Farish Friday, and I see Donald Trump post a video of my stupid face in the sombrero with the poncho on. And I'm going, what is going on? This White House, the memes, they lean into all the stuff that like most people wouldn't lean into. It was crazy. But the shutdown was over illegal aliens and healthcare and all of this, right? My favorite was Bernie Sanders coming out. Our healthcare system is broken. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, but like, this is the ACA. This is Obamacare, right? Like, you're the reason why it's your system, right? It's like it's like the CEO of Nissan complaining that he doesn't like his car and he drives a Nissan. It's like, it's yours. Like, fix it, So are we going to see a shutdown again? January 30th is the deadline. It looks like the Democrats are once again positioning themselves to hold the government hostage and shut it down over Obamacare subsidies. And so I will leave everybody with this question before we jump out for a break. And Esty, give me what you think. You, I think, worked in that industry, not insurance, but you with medical, right? In the hospitals and whatnot, right? Registered nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Why is the ACA, the A in ACA stands for affordable. Why doesn't it work? And if you want to give me like a minute or so, and then we'll jump into a break, and then we'll come back and we'll go over what's about to happen. But what's wrong with the ACA? Why doesn't it work? Why didn't it fix anything?
Because it's just it's an abused system. That entire situation is completely abused. And when I've seen it in the hospital, people with coverage that pay for it, they're coming in, they're trying to pull together and scrap together money to, get a surgery or get this done for their loved one. And meanwhile, we had to give beds to the people that were illegals. Absolutely no documents, the drug seekers. I mean, like I said, you said it. You don't even need a minute before you go into break. It is completely broken, and it's Obama's system that's broken in the first place. The fact that you even fined people for not having insurance was mind-boggling. So he go ahead and you open the doors for preventative health for everybody, but there is no affordability in it. There never was. There is zero affordability in it. Everybody's been struggling with this affordability, and the only people that probably had the perks of it were the people that didn't have to pay for anything and reap the benefits.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the number one, this is a foolproof rule, right? Look at education, look at healthcare, look at housing, in many aspects, look at food. Every single time the government, doesn't matter what party's in charge, every single time the government subsidizes something, That's the number one way to drive the price of that something up. College, healthcare, housing, food. Democrats now positioning themselves to possibly shut the government down again January 30th. And my question, anybody who has an opinion on this, 855-839-1210, should Republicans nuke the filibuster if the Democrats continue to stand in the way? There are pros, there are cons. I once thought one way. I now think the other way. We'll talk about that when we come back after break. It's Kayal and Company, but it's not Kayal and Company. It's Sean Farish and Esty Palti filling in for Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We'll be right back after this.
It's here. B101 is transformed into Philly's official Christmas station. Relax and unwind with your holiday favorites 24 hours a day, all the way through Christmas. Tell your smart speaker to play B101.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-848-2299. 800-848-2299. Again, that's 800-848-2299.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after monogram appliances. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in most magnificent homes and the kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
'Tis the season of savings at National Appliance Warehouse. Elevate everything and save on monogram appliances featuring sophisticated luxury and understated durability. You'll love expertly engineered and purposely designed monogram appliances. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire, or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-260-1679. 800-260-1679. Again, that's 800-260-1679.
Now you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
$8:20 over there on the East Coast. I'm in the Central Time Zone. They call it the greatest time zone. By the way, there's an announcement coming up at 4:30 with Pete Hegseth and our Secretary of the Navy. I think they're going to name a warship after me. They're going to call it the USS Biggest and Greatest, right? It's going to be called the USS Donald Trump. I think that's what's about to happen. 4:30 today.
Yeah, when I win in 2028, Donald, I'm going to rename it the Gulf of Kamala.
You know, we named it the Gulf of America, and we had no hurricanes. I don't know if you heard about it, but I made a great deal with Mother Nature. You know, she's a wonderful person. I've known her for a long time.
But the
and
Gulf
I said,
of Kamala, Donald, I mean, you got to admit that's
the Gulf
racist.
of Kamala is going to be horrible. You know, you can have hurricanes that Well, I'm just going to say very strong wind, right? We're going to say very strong wind. We have to be careful what we say, but very strong wind. You know that? The winds are going to be blowing very hard, right? Probably not supposed to say that, but the wind is going to be gusting. All right. We got two more callers, right? All right, here it goes. Here we go. Matt from New York. Let's go to Matt from New York. What's up, Matt?
Hey, Sean, how are you?
You tell me what's going on. Oh, I think I know who this is. I think I know which Matt from New York this is.
I say nuke the filibuster because the Dems are going to do it anyway.
I'm with you, Matt. I'm with you.
Now, but I have a question for Kamala.
And I was going to say, I don't think my friend Matt's calling and not asking a question to the former vice president of the United States. So go ahead, Matt.
That's right. Kamala, before you were vice president, before you were senator, you were known as a tough-as-nails prosecutor in California, throwing people, especially people of color, in jail. So if you want to get back in this and show that you're tougher than Trump and Vance, what would you do about the migrants in Somalia and the way they're ripping off the country to the tunes of billions of dollars? How are you going to show that you are tougher than the Republicans?
What a beautiful question, by the
Matthew,
way.
That is a good question. That is a good question. I have a great answer for that. All right. I don't know if you're ready. I do have
I'm ready.
Answer. Look, what I've felt, and stay with me here, what I've known, it's never shined through in what I have shown. All right, so
she's rhyming
never
now,
be
like Dr. Seuss.
And never see. I mean, we won't see what might have been. We won't see what might have been, and if you really unburden those migrants, and look, Matt, I was raised middle class. I explained this. I explained this earlier. I don't think you were paying attention. But when it comes to the fruition and how to mitigate fraud and how to mitigate these racist tactics, we have to come together and be proud and be strong of our Somalian nation. We have to support. We have to give support to the people of Somali. Now, I'm not sure if Elon, I don't know if she's hiding a small Somalian in her head turban. I don't know if she is, but if she is, that's her right. Right? Who are we to take that away from her? Who are we to unburden what has been? Now, Matthew, I have been in meetings with chancellors, prime ministers, bachelors and kings, goblins, warlocks. I mean, you name it. I've seen it and I've been through it all. We need to support the migrants of this wonderful nation.
Goblins and warlocks. What are we talking?
Kamala, I am dazzled by the brilliance of your answer, and frankly, I underestimated you. The way you cut to the heart of my question about what you would do about crime was just incredible.
Well, you should have voted for me, but it's not too late. It's 2028.
Maybe next time.
And I'm not done. There's money to lose. There is money to lose. I am just not done.
Oh, my goodness. See, this is why I love it. Live radio. We got Matt, the great Matt from New York. I love Matt. Thank you so much.
I don't know if you even caught that, Matt, but I was doing the lyrics from Unforgiven at some point by Metallica. But it works, guys. You throw on the accent, anything works.
Anything works. That is for sure. Matt from New York. Great stuff.
Thanks,
he's
Matt.
a great guy. He's one of the most creative. I know him personally. He's one of the most creative people I have ever met. Very, very, very creative, very funny, and very clever. All right, let's go to, we have another call. He's great. Yeah, he's the man. Frank from South Philly. What's up, Frank?
Good morning, Sean. Listen, I'd like to start the Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you guys. First time speaking to you on the radio. I normally speak to Dawn and also Don Giordano in the afternoon. I like to be respectful. I like to be respectable to I call her the laughing hyena, Kamala Harris. She couldn't do in 10 years what President.
I call her the cackling communist, by the way.
I have names. I have names for all of them, Sean. And she couldn't do what President Trump did in 10 years. She was assigned to be the czar on the border, and she couldn't even do that. She took one trip down to visit. That's how I feel about it. And the Democratic Party is just been deleted by the Socialist Party and the Communist Party. That's how I feel about
Well,
it.
I agree with you on that. Right. By the way, the border. We have a
Did
great
he
border.
start
Tom Hogan,
this
I call
with
him the
Merry
border's,
Christmas?
He did say that.
Merry
I know you
Christmas,
don't like
yes.
that.
How dare you utter Merry Christmas?
Yes, and we do say, and we do sing Jingle Bells here in South Philadelphia.
We have
And
no
one more
business
thing.
being merry. We have no
Yeah,
business being merry. What?
And one more thing, Sean. I would like to
Good, Frank.
invite Kamala Harris. We have it's called the Arena, 2300 Arena here in South Philadelphia. It's similar to the up in New York, Madison Square Garden. We do all kinds of professional for a sit down. I'll have a sit down with any one of them. And I'm going to give you why the President Trump is so successful, not in a short time, but all through his life. It's because he's world wise, he's street wise, and he's book wise. He's been all over the world, and he knows all the people in all the other
Are you
countries.
trying to get me in there to have a fight? Is he inviting me into an arena to jump me?
Well, I didn't get that. I didn't get that part. Could you repeat that?
Well, I'll tell you what. You're sitting on a.
into
Let me
an
just tell you
arena.
something. He says that I'm streetwise. He says that I'm worldwise. He's just basically saying that I'm a genius, and everybody knows that. I got along very well with Albert Einstein. I called him Al. E equals MC squared. It's a tremendous thing. Energy. I have a lot of energy. Equals mass.
Hey,
I don't have a lot of mass.
Hey,
Times the
Sean.
speed of light, which is how fast I run squared. What's the problem?
Sean,
What's up, Frank?
if I'm going to invite you to South Philadelphia over here, and if you do come down here, come to 2300 Arena or contact with me. I can give you the producer there, my telephone number, and I'll invite you. And you're going to have homemade wine that I make, and also other Italian food from down here, or the cheesesteak from
Homemade
Skinny.
wine. Hold on a second. Back up. Homemade wine. I'm there. Look, Donald, give me the contacts. You could text
We
me
will get
later.
his contact.
Use the same number
Thank you, Frank in
spam.
South Philly. Thank
You
you,
got
Frank
it,
in
Sean.
South Philly, for the call. Thank you. So this is why I love it, right? This is first of all, I grew up listening to a lot of sports radio. I love live radio. I love when people call in. You never know where it's going to go. And this station happens to have an amazing audience. We've experienced that for over the last year or so, especially the debate. I mean, being there live with everybody, it was insane just how much energy was in that building. But having done fill-ins on this station for a while, the calls are always great. But when it's this dynamic and you start, asking the questions to the two, it's so much fun. So 855-839-1210. If you want to be like one of the cool kids, like David in South Carolina, or Joe in South Philly, or Matt from New York, or Frank in South Philly, give us a call, 855-839-1210, to join the conversation. I want to play this clip. We were talking about the filibuster. Let's play this clip of John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader, John Thune, talking about how he's having problems working with Democrats to get legislation passed. Let's chum the water with this, and then we'll venture down the conversation of the filibuster. Let's roll this clip from John Thune.
President, when I became Majority Leader, I made it very clear that I was committed to funding the government through the regular order consideration of appropriations bills, not through an omnibus or long-term CR, oftentimes written behind closed doors. The regular order process gives senators from both parties the fullest chance to make their voices and the voices of their constituents heard, which is why I'm disappointed that we will not be moving to our second package of appropriations bills tonight. Republicans were ready to go, but unfortunately, my Democrat colleagues are not there yet. Hopefully they will get there. Mr. President, Republicans have worked hard all year to get us back to taking up appropriations bills through regular order. We had a positive start with the Senate passing 3 appropriations bills before the August state work period, something that hadn't been done here since 2018. But then we hit a setback when Democrats decided to shut the government down for 6 weeks. That, Mr. President, was disappointing, obviously. But I want this body to know that I remain as committed as ever to funding the government through the regular order process. And when we come back after the holidays, we're going to redouble our efforts to get this government funded and prevent any repeat of the Democrat shutdown. I hope, Mr. President, that my Democrat colleagues will join us. I hear them speaking to that effect, and I will take them at face value. And I hope that we can work together to fund the government in the way it should be funded through regular order and the appropriations process.
You see, I get what John Thune is trying to do, right? I get the era that he's hearkening for, that he's longing for. I get it, right? Let's work together. Let's fund the government. Let's do what, the Senate was designed to do. We're not even in a political arena that's reminiscent of 10 years ago, let alone 40, 50, 60 years ago, where something like that was possible. The Democrats have made it completely and totally obvious that their plan is to obstruct, that they're going to obstruct. They're going to make it look like Republicans don't know how to govern. This is their plan. This is what they did with the first shutdown. They shut, and there were many people who fell for it. I said, look, the filibuster is in the way. Okay. You need 60 votes to pass a continuing resolution. You had 53 Republicans for a long time, and then Rand Paul voted no or whatever. You had 52, and then Fetterman and a few Democrats. The fact of the matter was the Republicans, if they could have passed it by themselves, would have passed it by themselves. They couldn't because of the filibuster. And so it laid at the feet of Democrats. Obviously, politically, that was the truth. But the media and everybody decided to start gaslighting over it. And now you have John Thune again saying, well, I hope the Democrats are going to work with us to pass this. Dude, it's not going to happen.
I know.
That's the problem, right? Like you live in this world, Esty. I live in this world. Why? I get what he wants. I get what he wants to be the case. You just name me the Democrats on that side of the aisle that are going to do it. All right, fine, the 7 who caved or whatever. But it was after 34 days. We can't go through that again. We can't have our military not getting paid again. We can't have air traffic control, going through those issues again. We can't do that again. No way. So something's going to have to give.
Openly sabotaging, though, and that's what I don't understand. It's very frustrating when I see clips like that, because while like what you say, while it is very hopeful, I hope my kids listen to me every single day and go to bed on time and do all of this, but chances are they're not going to do that. And with the Democrats, they made it very clear. You said it beautifully. Their whole goal is to obstruct, and they are very much in their emotions. And all we literally see, and I feel like New York is prime example of that. It's like Mamdani got voted in because people wanted payback for Trump winning the election. I can't tell you how many people I spoke to that voted for him that are like, listen, I can't stand the kid. I don't know. I think he's too young. He doesn't have the experience. I think that he's, too radical, whatever. But, this is what we need at this point. And Trump hates him. So that's why I'm going to vote for him. When you have things like that, this is where these things become a problem. And, it's pathetic to see. You see this Democrat and you see him like, you see him, referring to Democrats like, we definitely have to talk together. We have to work together, but it's impossible. It's not going to happen. And he knows it. So I feel like this is gaslighting the nation too. Like, we're not going to work together. It's a waste of time.
He's posturing and he's doing this, I get what he's doing is giving them enough rope essentially to hang themselves, but this isn't going to work, right? You tried this once. You said, the Democrats are shutting the government down. And there was some polling on both ends that said one party was at fault, then the other party was at fault. Now you're coming back and doing it again. Well, if the Democrats don't work with us, the government's going to shut down. Stop. We went down this road once, okay? I don't want to hear about redoubling efforts. I don't want to hear about, I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say. You know what they're going to say already. This is not, I get it. He's going through the process, and I get he's doing it transparently, and I get he's doing it publicly, and I get what he's doing, and it would work in an era 20 years ago. It would work. The pressure that he was putting on them politically on the floor of the Senate, that would have worked under Bill Clinton. That would have worked under George W. Bush. We are in a different era. We are not in the era of 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, where the people in the Senate, all of them got along. I get it. In Pennsylvania, where this radio station is, you have John Fetterman and Dave McCormick. They're friends. Like, they get along. Fine. Wonderful. Yeah. Those are two. You need the entire body to get along, and you don't when you have radicals like Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Raphael Warnock, and so on and so forth. Dick Durbin, right? I mean, these people, aptly named, by the way. These people, Sheldon Whitehouse, right? He spits when he. These are people like these are. You're not dealing with. Look at the confirmation process. What they put Hegseth through. What they put Kash Patel through. What they put Bobby Kennedy through. right? I mean, these are not people that you're going to get to sit down with you, break bread with you, have a nice little conversation with you, shake hands, and go on your merry way. That's just not where we are. We have to be realistic now with what we're dealing with. And you mentioned it, that there are Democrats that are purposefully getting in the way. And there is a way around it. And yes, it's uncomfortable what Republicans are going to have to do, but it's going to require getting rid of the filibuster. And I'm not just saying it to ram the Trump agenda through. Just to fund the government, we need to do that. And I know people are foaming at the mouth. Democrats are foaming at the mouth for the next time that they're in power because the filibuster is going to be gone. And they're going to go, well, Republicans got rid of it. Now we get to do. Fine. But the alternative is everything gets hamstrung for the next couple of years. Republicans look inept, and they're not helping themselves in many cases going into the midterms. And then we deal with impeachment for 2 more years. So I say, and this is my stance, and when we come back on the other side, we'll see if anybody else, wants to get in and talk about this. 855-839-1210. My stance is the filibuster is as good as gone anyway, because if Democrats take power and they have power in the Senate and the White House, et cetera, they're going to get rid of it anyway. So we might as well do it on our terms and see what we can get while we do that and fight the next battle down the road. We'll talk about that more when we come back. 855-839-1210. You're listening to Sean Farish and Esty Palti filling in for Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We're back after this.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
Experience casino like never before at Bet365. Spin your way through your favorite games. Check out our awesome table games and face off against a real live dealer. And play exclusive games that you simply can't play anywhere else. New Bet365 players get a 100% deposit match bonus up to $1,000 plus spins. Download the app and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically present in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. T&Cs apply.
Dawn Stensland here. Happy Honda Days. You've heard me talk about my family and 7 different Piazza Hondas. You can get your clearance deals on select 2025 models at Piazza Honda, like 0.99% for 60 months on a new Honda Ridgeline. Lease a new Honda Accord for just $229 a month, or a Honda Pilot for only $399 a month, both for 36 months. Piazza Honda of Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, Reading, or Springfield, PIAZZA, PiazzaHonda.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Welcome back as we wrap up hour 3. Hard to believe we're this far along already. It is 8:43 out there in Philadelphia, 7:43 here in the greatest time zone known as the Central Time Zone in Tennessee. We love it.
You get 4 hours. Imagine 4 years, Donald. Why didn't you want to give America what they truly wanted? Four magical
more years. We're doing a tremendous job. This portion of the show is brought to you by Tri-County Auto. Great deals on Toyotas, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Stop by both dealerships. Look for the big American flag that is Tri-County Auto. Tri-County Auto. Look for that big, beautiful American flag. We thank Tri-County Auto for being a part of the show. Appreciate that. As we are now about to discuss the filibuster, what should Senator John Thune or Senate Majority Leader John Thune do about this filibuster situation? Should we nuke the filibuster? Is there enough support for Republicans to nuke the filibuster and fund the government and start to pass the Trump agenda without Democrats? I say, you know what? If the Democrats want to obstruct, make it so that they can't obstruct anymore. And if they'd like to join in, then I welcome them into the process. But if they're going to be like this, why don't we just stop working?
I agree.
With them
can't be at the expense of the
ourselves.
hardest working Americans we have at our military. It just can't be at their expense because they want to slam their foot into the ground. And it's like, no, we want what we want. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And what they did was shameful, especially because it wreaked havoc in the elections, and it was shameful. There was no regard for the American public. And Schumer, I honestly don't know how he sleeps at night. Pulling that kind of move. It's just that it's without any consideration of the true hardworking Americans of this country. It's with zero consideration to them. And I agree with you. You said it really well. There are pros and cons to that, but they're going to do it anyway. You have to nuke it in order to continue to run the country. You have to continue to run it and run it successfully. We can't afford another shutdown like that. We just can't do it.
I say you might as well do it on our terms, not theirs.
Exactly.
We have a caller, Frank in Burlington. Let's go to Frank in Burlington. What's up, Frank?
Hey, guys. I love your show. And Sean, you're great. I didn't really call about the filibuster necessarily, and I do agree with you that Thune is really naive to the intentions of the Democrats. But it scares me a little, the idea to get rid of the filibuster, only because if we're in that minority position, then we have nothing to hang on to. And I don't know, if it's worth giving this up, now, and then later on, literally when they take control, if they take control, that we have no options. That's the only reason why I'm a little scared about.
I'm gonna say this, and I don't disagree with you, Frank. Because like I said, there's pros and cons, and you just highlighted the cons, right? The cons right there are, if we get rid of it, right, you are giving a loaded gun to the Democrats, for lack of a better term, right, politically, all right, and they're going to point and shoot. We know that, okay? But my point is, they're going to do it anyway. If they find themselves, and they already tried. Remember, they already tried. And it was Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema who made sure that it would not happen, okay? So they already tried to get rid of the filibuster. And had they done that, you're dealing with they're going to try and pack the Supreme Court, et cetera, et cetera. My thing is, you've got a year. You've got a year till the midterms. And that if they take power back, and if heaven forbid they take the White House back, they will nuke the filibuster and they'll just ram their agenda through anyway. Why not try and get what we can get first before they get to do that? Because we know they're going to do it anyway. Is the point. They're not above it. So, but I totally understand the cons. And that's why for a while I was like, no, we have to keep the filibuster because it is the only thing protecting the minority party. The filibuster exists to try and foster that debate and both sides to work together so that there is compromise. And unfortunately, in this political climate, there's only two options. Either A, both parties are going to get along again, which look at how things are, that's not realistic, or B, one party is going to say filibuster's gone, simple majority in both houses. And I would say this, the filibuster and the 60 vote threshold does not exist in the Constitution. So it's not one of these things where we're changing some sort of constitutional norm. It is a tradition that was put in place. And you're supposed to be up there endlessly debating and speaking, not doing this silent filibuster stuff. But that's beside the point. You said you had called for another reason. So go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I really hope Republicans understand, like, how important it is that we hold the House and Senate. I was listening to James Carville the other day, and he was flat out. He was like, we will pack the court. That's the first thing. And Puerto Rico and D.C. are going to be states. If that happens, this country is gone. I mean, literally as we know it. And I kept thinking, too, just in terms of, I know that the subsidies for Obamacare, what would it hurt just to extend that 1 year just so it can get the talking point off the table for now before the midterms? I think that would have been the intelligent thing to do. Just do it for a year, and then it can come up again. And then I also, because I think these midterms are so important, I think Trump doesn't realize that sometimes because, and I love Trump, but sometimes things that come out of his mouth, he doesn't realize that, yeah, we love you, but there's a lot of people that are on the fence. And he literally says things that are almost guaranteeing that people are going to hate him before we get to the point of the midterms. I don't know. I just, I'm really in a state of like kind of fear right now for these midterms, and I just hope people, especially Republicans, understand how significant it is that we got to hold both, the House and the Senate. That's all.
Agreed. And the one thing you mentioned about Trump, and thanks for the call, the one thing you mentioned about Trump and kind of the things that he says, right? That's who he is, right? People are like, did you vote for this? And I'm like, well, I did. I voted. I knew who I was voting for, right? Like the Rob Reiner post. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily in good taste. I wouldn't have posted it. I get it. But, at the end of the day, I care about what results he's giving for the American people. You mentioned the healthcare subsidies and what harm would that do if we just extended that for another year? I mean, it's a good question and a good compromise, maybe you could say. But if we extend it for another year, they're going to kick that down the road and say it again. Well, let's just extend it for another year and let's just do it for another year. And there's no such thing as a temporary government program. We need a complete overhaul in healthcare, and this is where I wanted to go. SD, do you think? Look, because the insurance companies get the subsidies directly, right? The government sends the insurance companies, let's say United Healthcare, who they all hate. They were happy when Luigi allegedly killed the CEO, right? But United Healthcare is the one who gets the subsidies directly. Wouldn't it be better if you want to continue the subsidies and continue those payments and assist, so to speak, Americans with their healthcare, which if it was up to me, government wouldn't be involved at all. Right? Free market and make these companies compete. But wouldn't it be better if the people got the money, okay, and then they were able to spend that where they wanted?
Absolutely. Of course it would be better. I told you, the entire system is broken. Seeing it in the hospital and even the way that they pay, like COVID was a beautiful turning point for many nurses that, they put in the work. You had the PAs, the NPs, the aides. We put in, they put in this massive amount of work. It was around the clock at sometimes. They were overworked beyond repair, traumatized with, especially in New York. I mean, we had an Elmhurst hospital. There were truckloads of dead bodies. It was this broken system. And what did we find out after the fact? First of all those nurses, all those aides, they were all ushered in. And this is real personal accounts from nurses, my friends of mine, relatives that were like, you know what we got? Number one, we got a pizza party. They got millions of dollars in bonuses. The managers and the people in the hospitals, the administrations, for every single patient that was listed that, died with COVID, those people got a lot of payouts. Now, down the line, we saw so many people abuse that system, right? They abuse these temporary COVID programs, for example. The system is broken when the people on top are getting the money. And I don't condone the violence of Luigi, but I do understand the way the people's minds work. And these people justified this because they're like, hey, you know what? The insurance companies, they're scam artists. They have become way too greedy. And people like Luigi,
I see it as kind of like a, I mean, we're in this time now where we're calling Hamas resistance fighters. You're going to call somebody like Luigi a good guy. You're going to sit there and look at him and be like, hey, well, listen, greed and gluttony has gotten the better part of these insurance companies. These CEOs are raking in hundreds of millions of dollars. The people in upper management are getting hundreds of millions in bonuses. And us, we the people that are supposed to be getting this money in our pocket to lay off some of that pressure, we're getting squat. So we're getting nothing. Okay, we're getting squat. We're getting absolutely nothing. And I agree with you that the people should be, at the very least, getting some of that money back. But it's not going to happen because greed has taken over. And these insurance companies, they're going to continue coming out on top if this continues.
Well, the ACA benefits the insurance companies, does not benefit the American people. First of all, these new subsidies that are in place that continue to be the center point, focal point of these discussions were COVID-era subsidies that were put in place to help Americans afford health care during a pandemic, okay? The pandemic is over. It's over, okay?
Exactly.
It's over. This is like, if I get a cold, I go to the store, I get Dayquil, I start taking Dayquil. When my cold is gone, I don't keep drinking the Dayquil because I'm not sick anymore. I don't need the assistance, right? I don't wake up every morning and take Excedrin because I might get a migraine. I take Excedrin when I have a migraine. I don't just eat painkillers because I feel like doing it. You take these things for the assistance that they provide. So the sickness, the pandemic, is gone, so we don't need the Dayquil anymore, or at least we shouldn't. But now the Democrats are saying, no, we do need the Dayquil, we do need the assistance, we do need the supplement. Well, why? It's your system that you called the Affordable Care Act. You are in real time admitting the Affordable Care Act by itself, without enhancements, is not affordable. And this is why you're sending money, and my Senator Marsha Blackburn said this in a number of interviews. One of them I was present for. She said some of these companies, for example, let's just say, for example, I'm not saying this is what company has this happen, but for example, United Healthcare. Let's say there's, 10,000 people who are fraudulently, and the number is much larger than this, by the way, but let's say there's 10,000 people who are fraudulently enrolled in a United Healthcare plan through healthcare.gov. Those insurance companies are getting free subsidies sent to them in the names of people who don't even know they have healthcare, aren't even supposed to be on the rolls. Why not send the American people, if you want to send money and you want to do this wealth redistribution light sort of thing, give the American people who qualify for a subsidy, right? Give them the money, and then you let the American people decide which plan, they're not confined to something on healthcare.gov, which plan they want to put that assistance towards, okay? And they can only spend it on healthcare, but what that is going to do is what cell phone companies do, what cable companies do, what internet companies do. They will compete for your business, and they will add value to attract your business. That's what they will do. Whenever you switch, you hear these commercials. If you switch to T-Mobile today, we'll give you a free iPhone. The new customers don't get the free iPhone. The old customers, sorry, but the new customers get the free thing. They will give you perks. They will give you value. Oh, okay. If you switch to this healthcare plan today, $0 copays for the first 2 years. And you'll find this, the market will work, right? The market will wind up, up, and it will drive costs down. It will drive competition up. It will drive costs down. My goal, okay, with healthcare, if it was up to me and I could wave a magic wand, government's not involved. Because you look at what government did with housing, right? If you have an apartment complex and there's a handful of units that are earmarked for affordable housing and the government is giving these folks $1,000 a month, guess what the base rent is going to be for everybody? $1,000 a month. Doesn't matter that last month before those units became a part of affordable housing, it was $600. They know that, hey, if I price you out of your unit, the government will eventually pay for it, right? So the government is essentially setting the floor of the market, and it's making things more expensive on its head. You worked in the industry. You saw it, right? This is exactly what's going on. Give the people the choice. Make these companies compete instead of just giving them freebies.
Agreed.
All right. Now, there we go. Let me roll. Yeah, you know what? Donald Trump said the same thing here last week in his clip. Let's roll this clip real fast. Donald Trump said the same thing last week in his address to the nation from the White House, which, everybody the insane side of the internet thought was going to be a declaration of war against Venezuela, there was zero chance of that happening. Here's Donald Trump. Let's roll this clip. Donald Trump on healthcare basically echoes what we were just saying.
I'm also taking on the gigantic health insurance companies that have gotten rich on billions of dollars of money that should go directly to the people. The money should go to the people. That's you. So they can buy their own health insurance, which will give far better benefits at much lower cost. It will be far better health insurance. The current Unaffordable Care Act was created to make insurance companies rich. It was bad health care at much too high a cost. And you see that now in the steep increase in premiums being demanded by the Democrats, and they are demanding those increases, and it's their fault. It is not the Republicans' fault. It's the Democrats' fault. It's the Unaffordable Care Act, and everybody knew it. Again, I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price. The only losers will be insurance companies that have gotten rich, and the Democrat Party, which is totally controlled by those same insurance companies. They will not be happy, but that's okay with me because you, the people, are finally going to be getting great health care at a lower cost.
Congressional Budget Office, by the way, said that the Republican health care plan would save upwards of $50 billion for the U.S. taxpayer and lower premiums by at least 11%. Okay? I believe, because the CBO tends to lean left, they were dead wrong about tariffs. I believe it would be even better than that if you open it up, stop confining people to who must be chosen from the healthcare.gov marketplace, increase competition, and treat these companies just like cell phone companies, right? When T-Mobile did unlimited everything, no contracts, they attracted a lot of people. They say, yeah, our service was crappy, but we were attracting.
That's gonna have
now
a
they
cap too. I feel like the service wasn't as good, and then people would still gravitate towards Verizon. I feel like with that would happen. There's definitely perks into that, and I love it. The idea of the people getting their money, but what will happen is the same thing. You're gonna get what you pay for, and I think that's a great thing. If service is really important to you, for example, we're talking about cell phones. If that's really important to you and you're a person that's an entrepreneur and you need your phone to work at all times, maybe the unlimited portion of it is not going to be as appealing to you, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to spend that money. If you have a really, really heavy genetic makeup, for example, if everybody in your family has cardiovascular disease and you want to be smart and you have to be very well covered, or if you're just chronically ill, whatever the case may be, and if yours is just a little bit more expensive, it's at the end of the day, it's as American as it gets. You get what you pay for. Give the people the option to pay for what they want. And it's what you said. It will literally help with the market. If everyone has their own chance to not do it through the government shouldn't be involved. It's very former USSR, if I'm being honest with you. I can't stand it. I can't stand the government insurance. This doctor will cover this. Like dentists, for example. I mean, it's covered, right? The government will go ahead if you have one of these subsidized insurance plans. They will cover the bare minimum. They'll cover the 6-month visit, the cleaning, the cavity. But when you go in there, you know what they tell you? They go, oh yeah, well, the filling is going to be silver. If you don't want your kid, to look like they have a mouth of metal, you got to pay extra for this. If you don't want them to be traumatized, you got to pay for the laughing gas. You got to do that. And what do moms do? Hardworking moms. I've been into this situation myself. I take a look at my poor kids' faces. They're crying. They're screaming. I don't want them to be uncomfortable. At the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Drug them. I don't want them to look like this. Go ahead, put in the silicone. And I walked out of there with a $2,000 bill. And I called my husband and I said, cancel vacation. I took the kids to the dentist. And he's just like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, that's what it is now. This is the reality. A dental visit for us now is a mortgage payment. And I couldn't believe it.
Unbelievable.
So now what do? I focus on dental health in my house. I'm like, you guys are brushing your teeth 4 times a day. You're flossing. I don't care. No exceptions. This is the way it's got to be because it's expensive beyond affordability. And I do well for myself. We're okay. You know what I mean? Like we do well. I can't imagine what people are struggling go through. And I've had people tell me like, we just don't go to the dentist. And I said, that is absurd. That's sad. People should absolutely have options. Yeah, they should have the money in their pockets. And when the government is involved, they mess it up. Are you kidding me? And if there is going to be this plan that the government comes out with one day and says, it's amazing, everything is free, no hidden agenda, no nothing, guess what? You're going to have a migrant for a doctor. I assure you of it. I assure you.
100%. You get
you're going to walk
you
into
pay
that
for.
Office, he's gonna say, take a seat, Mrs. Harris. Take a seat. That's gonna happen. So
that's what it will be.
And if the government's involved, there's always a catch. I promise y'all. There's always
That's right. That's right. We'll talk more about healthcare when we come back and start hour 4. We'll kick off hour 4 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, 855-839-1210 if you'd like to join in. Sean Farish, Esti Palti, back after this.
Hi, this is Dave Barlow from Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury, New Jersey. This holiday season, bring home a truck that delivers. The GMC Sierra delivers the power for the windy winter roads, delivers luxury with premium comfort, and delivers professional grade. At the Barlow Holiday Sales Event, you'll save on more than just the factory rebates. Visit Barlow Buick GMC in Woodbury or shop 24/7 at barlowautogroup.com. Buick, exceptional by design. GMC, we are professional grade.
Check off the wish list with instant savings and free battery offers on select Steel tools. Shop online or in store. Steel.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Imagine actually feeling merry, bright, and genuinely healthy this holiday season. With Rescue, that feeling starts now. Going on today, the Deck the Hall sale lets you save up to 78% off on high-quality, research-backed natural supplements so you can feel your best, enjoy every festive moment. Formulas are crafted with purity, potency, and real science behind every capsule. That's why customers rely on Rescue for their essentials. Powerful omega-3s, doctor-recommended cholesterol support, gentle but effective pain relief, advanced probiotic blends, and natural age-defying formulas that help you stay vibrant from the inside out. This season, give yourself the gift of feeling good. Stock up, save big, and step into the holidays with the confidence that comes from supplements made with integrity and backed by decades of results. Ordering is easy. Just go to res-q.com or call a Rescue Product Consultant 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, online at res-q.com for up to 78% off this holiday season.
Hey, Joe DeCamera here. Let me tell you about my friends at United Tire and Service. You know, United Tire wants to wish you and your family a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. If you need quick travel preparations, now is the time to save and make sure your car is ready for winter driving. United Tire has some of the best prices of the year, and when you buy 2 or more tires, you'll get $50 off any other service that your car needs. Happy holidays from United Tire and Service. And remember, don't drive alone, drive United. Visit UnitedTire.com.
Tired of looking at your ugly, old, slippery bathtub? You don't have to any longer. Call PJ Fitzpatrick. The jacuzzi shower system from PJ Fitzpatrick features a low entry threshold with tons of design options. The jacuzzi shower is luxurious, affordable, and it installs in just 1 day. Plus, PJ will include a free shower seat and safety bars for all customers this month. Visit trustpj.com today for your consultation. That's trustpj.com.
Hey, it's Nick Kayal. This holiday season, share the love of driving excellence at the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, and Atlantic City with exceptional offers like the 2025 C-Class sedan or the 2026 GLC SUV with 1.99% financing for 6 months. And I just saw on social media that our guy Michael Steinberg from the sales department who manages our Piazza partnership just got a gorgeous new Mercedes-Benz in Westchester. So discover your Mercedes-Benz today at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, or Atlantic City.
Dom Giordano at noon, Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT
and Salon is the secret to finishing your holiday shopping this year. Visit their locations in Glen Mills and Springfield, or you can go online at josephanthony.com where gift cards are available. That is josephanthony.com, josephanthony.com. We thank you for being a part of the show. As we continue here, fourth and final hour, we got healthcare on the docket right now, and we also got a little bit about New York. There's been a gubernatorial shakeup, but we've been touching on Mom Donnie for a while, and Esti, you brought up something very interesting early in the show, and you mentioned, some of the crackdown, so to speak, on anti-Semitism, and was it too much? Was it too heavy? Did they go too far? Here's an interesting story out of the transition team with regards to Zoran Mamdani. So you have this staffer, right? Oh my gosh, my thing won't open up. Here we go. Okay, no problem. This Mamdani staffer apparently was forced to resign over what they say were anti-Semitic remarks on social media. And I want to know if you think this is too much, okay? Zoran Mamdani hasn't taken office yet. On Thursday, what's being characterized as disturbing anti-Semitic comments were shared online by Mamdani appointee Catherine Almonte da Costa. Set to step into the role of Director of Appointments, these comments resurfaced. The vile rants included comments about, quote, money-hungry Jews, and saying the Far Rockaway train is the Jew train in New York. The ADL, Anti-Defamation League of New York, and New Jersey shared DaCosta's posts and demanded answers from the Mamdani administration. The group on X said, Mayor-elect Mamdani has announced Catherine Almonte da Costa as his Director of Appointments, tasked with bringing top talent into his administration. Her social media footprint includes posts from more than a decade ago that echo classic anti-Semitic tropes and otherwise demean Jewish people. Tweeting about money-hungry Jews is indefensible. Now, I don't like the fact that she's posting things like this, but it was a decade ago. They say that these posts, this is how they classified and categorized it, echo classic anti-Semitic tropes. I just find it ironic that the left and a left-wing group like the ADL is going after a left-wing appointee. But do you think that maybe they're grasping at straws here, or did they do the right thing?
I don't think they're grasping at straws. At the end of the day, it's not about what was said 10 years ago. There is a term in Islam, and I only bring it up because there are definitely going to be people, and we spoke about this, we touched on this in the beginning of the show. Of course, there are people that live here that want a better life for themselves, but we have no way of distinguishing who's an extreme, Islamic state of mind and who is just practicing Islam. Now, when you have someone like that, and Mamdani is sadly surrounded by a lot of people. I mean, he founded the Students' Justice for Palestine movement. I don't think a lot of people are even aware of that. And that, a lot of that group is anti-Semitic to its core. When you have people like that in your administration, it kind of touches upon, is taqiyya an actual practice of the Mamdani administration? Now, what is taqiyya?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Taqiyya is the belief that you are absolutely not only allowed to lie, but you're encouraged to do so in the name of Islam in order to further its agenda, which is jinnah. It's about globalizing the intifada, bringing in Sharia law, and first and foremost, really just overall, just going ahead and executing the will of Allah. They believe that Islam is the only religion, the right religion. I know many religions believe that their religion is the one and only, but they take it to a different level when it comes to taqiyya, because the entire mindset around taqiyya is that you say and do whatever it is you got to say and do to get into that seat. And once you get into that seat, it's game over, and you can go ahead and you can instill what you truly believe. That is my only takeaway when it comes to people in the Mamdani administration. There are definitely people in his administration that are just very liberal, that think that, he's a fresh breath of air. He's going to change things. He's going to make New York City free. We need to make sure that everything is going to be free, free, free. It's typical liberal logic. It's like the socialists that don't know that socialism actually doesn't work. They're in for a rude awakening, right. But it's very difficult to separate that from the people practicing taqiyya, who will say and do anything once again, but their actual motives, they're very ulterior. So the left always eats itself, but this is what happens when you have a red-green alliance, and I think it's right that this is a fireable offense. Absolutely. It just indicates the rot of our society. And if it's someone like that is going to be responsible for bringing in talent, I wouldn't want someone like that in his administration either. If you're showing any type of hatred to that extent, I truly believe that it's a rot. You don't change your mindset. You don't change your way of thinking, especially when you connect yourself with people like Mamdani, with the people that he affiliates himself with. I don't buy any of the Trojan horse nonsense that he comes out with, the ridiculous fake grin. It's AOC all over again, just on steroids. I don't buy any of it, and I think New York City is in trouble, especially now with the whole Stefanik thing. But I know you'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. The issue that New York City I think is going to have, I don't think many people realize this, is he wants to do these free buses, he wants to do the grocery stores, the whole 9 yards. Where's all that money going to come from? Well, they tell you billionaires, right? We're going to go after the billionaires. We're going to tax the billionaires, and billionaires shouldn't exist. Yeah. I mean, it just right across the border in Jersey, this happened less than 10 years ago. There was a hedge fund manager by the name of David Tepper, and he left New Jersey. And when he left New Jersey, the entire state had to redo its budget because they lost his tax revenue. One person. So what happens when these businesses, when these corporations, what happens when they do it like the New York Islanders did, right? They play in Elmont. That's technically Nassau County, but it's right on the border of Queens, right? What happens when these businesses that are headquartered in the 5 boroughs move out to Long Island, or move up to Westchester County, or move to Jersey, or move to Pennsylvania, or relocate altogether and go to some place like Tennessee, a business-friendly state, like these smaller states, right? What happens? Where do you get the money? Well, there's no more billionaires. There's not as many billionaires. So who's going to foot the bill? Well, you got to do it for the greater good, right? You got to, we're going to tax you. We're going to tax you, the layman. We're going to tax you, the average Joe, the average Jane, and you'll pay it. Because that's what good people do, right? You want that free bus, so you have to pay for it. Well, then it's not free. It's ridiculous.
Costs have gone up. Do you remember that? You remember that gem? You remember when she came out, and it's exactly the same situation. She had the audacity to get on that mic, get on that podium, and she goes, listen, costs have gone up. And we continue to print money and send it to Ukraine. I mean, costs have gone up. You're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay your fair share. And that's just that.
And how come nobody can tell me what the fair share is, right? There's no number of what is the fair share, right? It's like if you're on Jeopardy and someone says 70% of your income. What is the fair share, right? Like, do you answer the question? Nobody can answer that. What is the quote unquote fair share? How much of my income is the government entitled to that they deem fair, right? What share of my income, of your income, of anybody's income, billionaire, trillionaire, or somebody in poverty, what share of the income is fair? Does it move? Is it a fixed rate? Is it fluid? Does it change, day to day? What? And nobody can answer this question. What?
Not only that, but you have
share?
Mamdani with that ridiculous smile talking about, and I don't think billionaires should exist, right? Billionaires shouldn't exist. You are a Nepo baby talking about billionaires shouldn't exist, but hey, I'm going to tax them. So everything that he says, it's going into a full circle. And it's just like you said, what happens when those billionaires leave? The ones that shouldn't exist in the first place, that you think should foot your bill because they worked for it, the ones that you think should foot your city, the ones that you think you're going to take away their properties and take away their buildings if they're vacant, and you're going to just give it to the homeless people. He lives in La La Land. Nothing he says makes sense. And people should, I don't understand why people voted for him. I was about to say people should be careful when they're considering their vote for him. Yeah, it's too late, New York. You voted for him. You voted him in. We don't know what's going to happen in January. And it's all because he promised all these free things, and he ate with his hands a few times on the camera to make himself seem relatable, just like all the Democrats do. I've seen him pander. He has a freaking South African accent. He's Kamala Harris after her own heart. I swear to God, I've seen him with an Indian accent. I've seen him be a rapper, and he himself probably never worked a true day in his life. Okay. Lives very well. Parents are loaded. And it's just like, what are you doing? Well. You're talking to people. Yeah, they're loaded. They're loaded. You're rich. You and your freaking wife. And they
have a compound in Uganda, like a huge like a mansion in Uganda, like a beautiful place. But he's relatable to the working man. Think about this: the buses. He wants to make the buses free. Okay, so if there's no charge to get on the bus, then there's no reason
we pay for that now, and it looks like Chernobyl. What are you thinking, Zoran the moron?
But what happens if the bus is free? What happens if the bus is free and a homeless guy gets on the bus? Good luck getting off.
For the bus drivers. Did you hear about that? He's making them free because it's going to remove the threat to bus drivers. Because, when people come in and it's like, yo, what's up, bro? I can't pay today. And they just like stab you in the neck if you demand the Metro card. Yeah, that happens. It's craziness. It's madness in New York City. Absolutely. But the idea that you think that if it's free, that just completely wipes out violence from the city because things are free, that literally doesn't make sense. And it shouldn't be even affiliated with that notion. But he actually debated on that. And he actually stood there and said that, like, I believe that it's going to keep more city workers safe. Why? Because if the bus is free, then everyone's happily riding the bus because it was for free. He doesn't want to talk about how no one is going to maintain these buses for free. It's going to cost the city
millions of dollars. They're going to be rolling homeless shelters. If you don't have to pay to get on it, the homeless are going to sit on there. You're going to have people sleeping on the bus all day. I just don't understand how this is going to work.
Sad. I'm really upset that I'm still here. For personal reasons, I can't leave.
In the city, right?
Yeah, I'm in Queens. I mean, we are just we're just waiting at this point. We're just gonna see what happens. It hasn't been a bus ride so far. I mean, listen, it's a blue city. We had de Blasio, he completely destroyed it. I still will never forgive him for this. Like, there's a burger element to this. Look at this. You get a vaccine, I'll get you some fries for free. Like, I couldn't believe that it can get worse than that, and it absolutely can get worse than that, apparently. So, I mean, I'm just here for the ride at this point.
Yeah, I mean, de Blasio, one of my favorite de Blasio moments is when he set up the snitch line for COVID and was like, send me pictures of people who are, and people sent him pictures, but it wasn't of people doing the wrong thing with COVID.
Yeah, no, that was great.
It was, not the type of picture you want to receive on your phone if you're built. Or maybe you don't want to receive it.
It was something that I'm used to seeing and doing to get to where I was in government.
I would never do that, and I've never done that. You know why? Because if I did that, you'd have a phone. They can't take a picture of something that big. They say, sir, there's too much. You know that? You can't do it. So, wouldn't be able to happen. We wouldn't be able to let it happen. Now, I think New York City's in a lot of trouble. We will get to Stefanik in a second when we come back, the issue there. I was shocked when this announcement came out last Friday. We'll also touch on a little bit more of the affordability crisis and what was going on in Minnesota if we have time this morning. But we are in that fourth and final hour. We do have in that final segment, Phil Almquist coming up with This Day in Music History, which is one of my favorite segments of the show. He's got all these unbelievable facts of what went on in music history this day. So it's awesome. We will get to all that and more coming back after a quick break. If you want to jump in the conversation, you have a question for either your favorite president or your least favorite vice president, you can give us a call at 855-839-1210, 855-839-1210. Sean Farish, S.D. Palti, filling in for Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio
anything,
1210.
Truly.
WPHT. You can ask her any question when we come back right after this. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Kayal and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Between email addresses, social media, apps, this, that, and the other thing, I can't keep track of all my passwords anymore. I've had to write them down on a notepad and store them in a safe place. I'm tired of having to reset my password and then get the verification email and then go in and change it. And then they tell me that it's not strong enough. Can you throw a few characters on the end? How about a money sign? Oh, don't forget the capital letters. It's got to be between 8 and 12s. There's too many consonants.
Start your day with Kayal and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Listen up, football fans. You won't want to miss this.
Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. So you could turn that $150 into something bigger when you bet on money line, spread, totals, player props.
$150 in when new customers bet $5. I know where I'm going to bet from now on. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Pennsylvania. TNC Supply. And app only.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. This Christmas holiday, enjoy exclusive savings on our high-quality rechargeable hearing aids. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and shop Christmas holiday deals before they're gone at audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance. Please see the Albert app or albert.com for subscription pricing. Subscriptions can be canceled at any time.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind
on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? You can get up to a $1,000 advance fast to pay for car repairs, bills, rent, groceries, whatever you need. Plus, Albert can help you find ways to save and give you a custom budget to actually grow your money.
Albert can get me up to $1,000?
Exactly. But they do more than get you up to $1,000. Albert is your financial assistant, helping you budget, save, and spotting you money in a pinch.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code SAVE to get up to $1,000 for your bills, rent, groceries, and more. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code SAVE to get up to $1,000. Use code SAVE to get up to $1,000.
Lexus of Cherry Hill, an elite of Lexus dealer and an 8-time J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence for the customer sales experience. Why would you buy your Lexus from anyone else? The 2026 Lexus models are here and moving fast. The amazing team at Lexus of Cherry Hill are your source for the Lexus of your dreams. Over 300 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Face it, you deserve a Lexus and you deserve award-winning customer service. Start your journey at lexusofcherryhill.com.
For J.D. Power Dealer of Excellence information, visit jdpower.com/US-DOE.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
Hey, Hatboro. Tell your smart speaker to plug 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
9:23 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on this 22nd day of December. We're 3 days away from the big day. You know what day I'm talking about. When that fat guy comes down your chimney. I'm not talking about Chris Christie, by the way. We're talking about Saint Nick.
We know it's you, Don, because you always take the cookies. We know it's you.
He's a tremendous guy. No. And I got along very well with Rudolph. You look at Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. You know, they tried to turn his nose blue with millions of ballots at 3 a.m. We're not going to let it happen. Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, had a very shiny nose. The shiniest nose.
I get along with eggnog. Eggnog. That's what I get along with.
She has, it's called the eggnog brain fog all the time, by the way. Explains a lot. It explains a lot.
It keeps the
Has anyone
hangovers
ever
at
told
bay.
you you're a stupid
No,
person?
don't
Has
talk
anyone
about
ever
it.
told
No.
you you're a stupid person? Is that
You
why you
used to tell
picked
me
Tim
that
Walls?
every-
Because
you
he's
used to
also a
call me-
stupid person?
You crank called me and called me a stupid person. You didn't even mask your voice, Donald. You didn't even mask your number, but you called me every day and told me how stupid I was. Tell the American people. Tell them how you ridiculed me and criticized me. And
We did that.
unburdened
We
what
did
I
every second of that. We did every second of that because it had to be done. Nobody's ever told you that before till I
This is your
told you.
president, ladies and gentlemen.
I started
This
a
is-
trend. I started a trend. Now people are doing that to Tim Walls outside of his house. You look at it.
I
They're
don't
driving
mind
by
that
with
so
their
much. He
vehicles.
used to yank on my tampons. That was a strange man. I didn't like Timmy. Seabiscuit, the horseplay. It was just too much. PETA was down my throat, and I'm used to other things.
Well, I'm
down
sure
there.
you
So
like
it was
that.
just-
I'm sure you like that.
it was-
I'm sure you
look,
like that.
It wasn't as enjoyable as it usually is. The PETA people, they was on my case. Timmy, he was the wrong selection. I blame him. I blame Megan the Stallion. She didn't dance or twerk hard enough. I blame Beyonce for taking 10 million and not even singing a damn verse. Jay-Z was waiting in the car outside. I blame all of them. They're the true
But who
reason.
shut off
So,
your
Don, you got
teleprompter?
lucky.
32
You got
days. Who shut off your teleprompter?
32 days. I remember that. It was 32 days for a long time in my house.
That was one of my favorite moments. You could tell that there was a look of horror on her face when she was like, uh-oh. So she just said it like, 3 or 4 times in a row? And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is bad. And then you
can't
ran with
believe
that.
I was lucky enough
ran
to
with
be
that.
chosen as the one to be able, it was my own therapy. A lot of people ask me, like, why do you do this? Do you want a career in this? What's going on? And I'm like, guys, this is a blessing.
You have no idea how therapeutic this entire situation has been for me. So, like just the 32 days, there are so many moments. There are so many moments. So, you're welcome, America. You're welcome. That could have been a really nice cash cow moment for me. But you know what? For the sake of America, I let Don take it because, the Pride Lands would have been on fire if I would have won.
You know what you do really well with that is, and you mentioned it before, it's while you're speaking, it's the head nod of encouragement and affirmation, where she starts saying something and she's like, yeah. You said that before.
Yeah.
It's exactly what she does.
Is wild.
But
you know what I loved?
I don't know where
there was the. Did you check? Did you catch this? This was so funny to me, and I haven't had a chance to make the content yet, but I still will. I don't think it's too late. When she did that interview recently, and I think it was a British-speaking woman, she literally just called her out right in front of her face, and she goes, "That was a world-class pivot if I've ever seen one." And Kamala was over there like,
"Yeah, she was Australian. It was amazing."
She just got called out on that, and she still tried to finesse her way around unburdening what has been in coconut trees and school buses, and she couldn't do it. And more people should have done that. And if they would have, she wouldn't have even been in the running, if I'm being honest with you. If they would have showcased her more and more, I mean, it would have but please, by all means, Kamala, if you're listening, 2028, I mean, I would love to pay off my house the second time around. So if you're listening,
yes, run again.
Go ahead. You got my support, girlfriend.
That's it. Switch to Democrat. Vote for her in the New York primary, right? I mean, and then and try and help your case. I think that's great. You look at New York. We talked about them earlier, right? With that illegal on the road, and Oklahoma, and he said he was in New York for a couple of years. Mamdani made an entire campaign out of doing this. That lunatic who was down here in Tennessee, Afton Bain. She made an entire campaign out of talking about affordability. And I think Donald Trump is onto something. Republicans are onto something. If they can get this right and get this messaging right, the affordability crisis in this country, it's not I'm not going to say it's a direct, this is not a direct cause, and it's not a direct result of this, but illegal aliens and the illegal alien population, it's exacerbating this crisis. There are several factors that are contributing to the inaffordability of things, but the illegal aliens living off of the taxpayer, the illegal alien population in this country, certainly not helping matters. Here's what Donald Trump had to say about this last week in that address to the nation. Let's roll that clip. We have that illegals living off the taxpayer. I may not have included. Did I? Let me see. Because if it's there, that's okay. Donald Trump essentially, he said that illegal aliens are getting so many taxpayer-funded benefits, and they're here present in the country. And I want you to think. So it's a supply and demand. And demand. So you've got all of these houses, right, that are being filled with illegal aliens, families. You've got all these apartments that are being filled with illegal aliens and their families. And it is driving up competition. It is driving not competition necessarily for businesses to get your business or apartment complexes to earn your business or earn your patronage, but the people, American citizens and the illegals, are competing with each other for a finite number of resources and a finite supply of things. If you don't think that the demand for housing is driven up through the roof by 10, 20, 30, 40 million illegal aliens that are in this country who shouldn't be here, I don't know how you'd ever come to accept this point. But I mean, are you seeing this, Esty, in New York City, that the cost of living crisis is being exacerbated by the population of illegal aliens that are just being stashed essentially in the state and in the city?
Of course. Of course, and when you talk to them, it's even more infuriating. I mentioned this before. I had a nanny that lived that works for me for a little while, and I've spoken to other illegals here. You know, they're all over the place. At the end of the day, you know, you're in the 5 boroughs. You're going to see every other person, and just talking to them, just having a sit down conversation, talk to them, ask how many SNAP benefits they have on their card, ask how much they actually get, and it's like it keeps rolling in. They don't have the time to actually go and spend it, and they're going to keep having babies over here. And imagine being, you know, getting all this free money. And on top of that, in addition to that, you know, they do work the hard jobs. Some of them work, you know, they'll work the hard jobs, but they're not putting that money back into the economy. And that's what people don't understand. Many of them are sending that money back home. So look at that.
Right.
You taking away jobs from the citizens of this country, and the money that you get from those jobs, you're sending back, empowering foreign nations, you know, across the way. And I'm telling you, I've spoken to people over here. They've shown me pictures of back home. They live like it's the Taj Mahal over there. They live like kings and queens. Their children are getting the best of the best. I'm not talking about all of them, of course, but then I talk to the struggling New Yorker, the one that's doing it right, the one that's paying their taxes, the one that's going to work and getting a 37% tax rate, you know, just wiped out from their check every single time. And the food costs are continuing to go up. It is very sad to see when you are now in a country that is catering more to illegals and criminals, especially in New York City. We see it all the time. Criminals are let go all the time. So it's like there's no incentivized motive anymore to be a good person, to go to work, show up on time. There's no incentive to do the right thing, follow the law. And if we remove that, what are we going to have? We're going to have anarchy. We're going to have a collapsed society. Import the third world, and that's what will happen. And more Americans are getting very, very frustrated with the situation, Sean. It's getting crazy, and they are rightfully angry. And what I fear is that there is going to be a massive clash, and these politicians that forgot that they work for us, they serve us, we put them into power for a reason. They forgot that, and I feel like we are going to have a rude awakening in this country sooner than we imagine, because something's got to give. People are on edge. The everyday citizens are on edge. They're tired, man. They're tired. They just want to live. They want to raise their kids. And it's at this point that they're getting scraps, and they're getting sick of it. And when you watch all these illegals around you getting these benefits that your taxes are paying for, it's going to start pissing you off, and it's going to start putting you on this edge more and more. And it's only going to take a little bit for the everyday, once upon a time good citizen to completely snap. And that's why I think it sets a very dangerous precedent to what is going on. And that's why people leave, Sean. So many people I know are leaving New York. They're like, why are you over there? Let's just go. You can't win. You can't beat them. Aren't you sick of getting abused by them? Aren't you sick of your taxpayers paying for this? Go where there's like a different tax rate. But you know what I'll say to those people? You should definitely leave and go live where things are going to get better for you. You should definitely do that. It blows my mind how many Democrats will themselves vote this in, and they don't like it, and they're going to go move down to Florida and enjoy that tax rate. But when the midterms come around and local elections come around, they start voting for the same crap they run away from. And I can't for the life of me understand it. I'll never understand it.
It's the same thing when you have these folks that are, they say, oh, we're fleeing these third world countries. We're coming here for a better life. And then you bring over all the stuff that you ran away from. The same thing. It's the exact same thing. These people are going across the world. You have, the folks that you're talking about moving, within the country. But think about this. Out of Minnesota, this is an article on Breitbart. Nearly every Somali household with children in Minnesota is on welfare. You mentioned that they're popping out babies, right? More than 8 in 10 households headed by Somali refugees in the state of Minnesota are on one or more forms of American taxpayer-funded welfare, according to new data published by the Center for Immigration Studies. Think of this, too. This just came out this morning, a couple days ago as well. They were talking about it. Of the $18 billion paid to Minnesota out of the federal Medicaid program, half of that, $9 billion, is suspected of being abused by fraudsters. Here, back to this article in Breitbart. The data is based off of 10 years of data from the Census Bureau's American Community Survey, showing drastic disparities between native-born American households and Somali-born households in Minnesota. 80,000 residents have Somali ancestry compared to 0 who had Somali ancestry, in 1990. In particular, the data shows that 81% of Minnesota households headed by Somali refugees are on one or more forms of welfare, including 27% who are on cash welfare, 54% who are on food stamps, and 73% who are on Medicaid. Look, I have no problem, right? I mean, I don't love social programs, but if you're going to take money out of my paycheck and you're going to stash it in these welfare programs that are there to assist people, if you're down on your luck, I don't want you going hungry. If you're down on your luck, you don't have enough money to make ends meet, and you need that assistance from your government, and you paid into that system, and now you're in a really bad situation, and you need that little, not handout, but a hand up. I'm fine. That's what the system is there for.
And that's what it was built for. That's the way it was created,
Exactly.
but that's not how it's being used.
It's being used now to import people and then let them live off of that system that they never contributed to in the first place. And that is wrong, because that's a one-way street. That's money out and no money in. And that is not sustainable.
That's not sustainable at all. And it's unfair to the people that are working hard. And it also ensures that Ilhan Omar is going to sit there and stay. And it's very brazen of her to behave like, this is a problem that, unfortunately there was a hiccup here and this was missed and that was missed. No, I want people in chains. I want people held accountable. There is not a shot in hell that somebody didn't drop the ball in a massive way. You're trying to tell me $9 billion in fraud and you guys had no idea? I do not buy that. Yeah. And I want answers. How's Ilhan Omar worth 30 million? I want to understand that right now. How?
Great question.
And she should be held accountable to answering that. Like, enough is enough. We didn't learn with Nancy Pelosi. This is why so many people, lose faith in the system. She sits there and admits that, it's a free market and I'm allowed to participate. When you're doing better than the Dow, Nancy, something's wrong. All right, something is wrong. And Ilhan Omar,
S&P 500, she way out. The woman can't keep her teeth in her mouth, but she's the best stock trader in the history of the world. She's better than the S&P 500. It's unbelievable. It's out of control. And I'm with you. I want answers. I want, there needs to be, and by the way, more than just investigations, okay? Because I know that if I put the decimal in the wrong place on my taxes, I'm going to have fines and penalties and letters and phone calls and
that really
criminal
things.
things.
The lack of accountability now. It really bothers me. It's like they can literally sit in Congress and talk about hating America and nothing is happening to them. What happened to treason? What happened to any of these things? If you are benefiting from straight fraud financially somehow, you should be removed from your seat. That you do not have the backs of the people that put you in there. You are not an American. And I feel like that lack of accountability is why so many people lose their belief into our system. We have a system. Mm-hmm. We have a great country. Listen, I love this country. And I'm one of those families that my parents came over here. We depended on these programs only until my parents can get on their feet. A couple of years into the country, my parents literally said, hey, here you go. Someone else that's really hungry is going to need it. We were dirt broke still. We were dirt broke. But my parents were like, yo, this is the land of opportunity. We officially have papers. There's laws here. We're going to be protected. We are in the city that doesn't sleep. If we can make it here, we can literally make it anywhere. And I come from a family of dreamers. And for me to sit here and even be on this show with you, Sean, it is a privilege for me. I'm a big deal in my community for this aspect because I'm an immigrant. I was 4 years old when I came here. And that was the true American dream for our parents to come here. They sacrificed everything. We didn't go on vacations as a family. We didn't have the money for it. We only had money for bills and for food. And I'm not saying that people should struggle, but what I am saying is that there's a right way to come up into this country and there's a wrong way. And you can come up in this country, but to abuse the system and just live off of government assistance when real people that need it aren't getting it, and you sit here and you talk about how much you hate the country and you're trying to import your third world mindset over here, it doesn't make any sense to me. And that's treason. And these politicians, they need to start being held accountable because these programs were meant to be temporary. From the subsidy programs to the COVID programs, all of that, where they abuse it, we're the only ones that get hurt. And like you said, if it's up on my IRS documents, I get a proctology exam that same week. The IRS can come after me. How is that fair? And the politicians are sitting here and they're raking in millions in fraud, and we're all just going to let them continue doing it. And on top of that, they're going to get reelected, and we're going to sit there and give a round of applause. It's backwards, and it's not okay. And something's got to give.
Something's got to give. I agree. And, it is ultimately up to the people to force that change peacefully, of course. Unfortunately, too many people kind of disengage after a while. Hopefully it gets bad enough and enough people pay attention. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the New York governor's shakeup. We will have This Day in Music History with the great Phil Almquist. Don't go anywhere. It is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT as we wrap up the fourth and final hour of this 4-hour marathon. Sean Farish and SD Palti for Kayal and Company. We are right back on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Right.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-848-2299. 800-848-2299. Again, that's 800-848-2299.
Yo, Philly, Ike Reese here. You know I love this time of the year. Football, family, and plenty of tasty cakes. I'm talking about those limited edition flavors, those Frostbite donuts, fire. And don't even get me started on the mint chocolate candy cakes, elite snack status right there. Perfect for tailgates, parties, or just kicking back after a Birds win. So grab your winter tasty cakes before they're gone, and you know the rule, accept no substitutes.
At Riverwinds Restaurant, every table comes with a view overlooking the Philadelphia skyline and the Delaware River. It's the perfect backdrop for a date night, family celebrations, or just a night out with friends. Savor fresh seafood, sizzling steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and desserts worth lingering over. When the food is unforgettable and the view is unbeatable, you're at Riverwinds in West Deptford. Make your reservation today. Call 856-579-7900. 856-579-7900.
Does the world seem like it's just gone insane? I mean, bat crap, crazy, insane? I bet you think it does. Everybody seems to have lost their mind. Well, it's Christmas. I'm Eric Erickson. It's time to actually get up to 50,000 feet and look down to see the forest from the trees. What really matters? Why does it matter? And how can we process the insanity around us and use the Christmas story to do it? Listen Christmas Eve at 3 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Dawn Stensland here. You've heard me talk about my friends Marvin E. Cann's Heating and Air Conditioning and the all-in-one Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Air Conditioning mini split that Marvin E. Cann's installed in our lower level office. This ductless unit from Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Air Conditioning, oh, what a game changer. Larry and I spend so much time in our lower level office, and this Mitsubishi Electric ductless unit is keeping us so nice and toasty in this winter weather. Visit my guys, MarvinEKanze.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Keep free speech alive. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Welcome back. Wrapping up the fourth and final hour on this Monday, the 22nd day of December. It is 9:46 a.m. out there in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. You look at it. Don't you love the brothers out there, Kamala? Don't you love the brothers? All your brothers at the HSBC,
I love
us.
me. Yeah, my brothers. Shout out to my brothers and sisters, by the way. Make sure y'all do your collard greens the right way. If my brothers is listening, all right, you gotta use bath water. I use Dougie's. It just seasons it up. So shout out to my brothers and sisters. If y'all need the collard greens recipe, you can just go on my website. I don't have a working one yet. I owe people money, but when it's up and running, Donald will give you the website.
Oh, that's good stuff. Hey, we got a caller waiting on the line. It's Greg in Florida. What's going on, Greg?
Hello, Esty. Hello, Sean. Merry Christmas before we start. You said a few minutes ago that the handouts are killing it, but we should in America, the 4-letter F word that should be stricken out of the lexicon is free. There is nothing free ever. Free in New York City. The easiest thing to look at it is free bus rides. You brought that up. Okay? Free means the person who doesn't pay in the taxes is on that bus. So that's strike one. Strike two, free means the person who is paying for that bus is not on that bus. Three, when that bus breaks down, it's going to be a double burden on the person who's not riding that bus. So it's at least a multiple of 3, probably 5. There's no such thing as free. You know, people hear the word free because they're not paid into it. So that word drives me crazy. My son, when he was little, that's free. I'm like, it's buy one, get one free. They just double the price. You're not getting it free. There's nothing free. They may give you a deal, but there's no such word as free. You know what I mean? That's none. And that's
right. It's true. No, it's true. Someone's got to pay. Someone pays for it. Okay. Whether it's if you're talking about something for free in a store, grocery store, supermarket, someone's paying for it. Ultimately, if the consumer isn't footing the money for it, then they go ahead and charge that to the, so you're right. There's no such thing as actually free, especially when you talk about government. I had conversations like this with younger kids, and I was just like, look, you want free health care. How are you going to get free health care? Well, the government's going to pay. Well, where does the government get the money? Taxes. Well, where do the taxes come from? Us. So if you're paying for it, is it free? He goes, well, not really. I said, so you see, and so you're 100% right, Greg. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right. That's
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Greg. Greg in Florida. Appreciate that. Merry Christmas to Greg. Yeah. On that. And by the way, to all these Democrats who love to talk about free healthcare and all this. Do you know what the word is, Esty, for when what do you call it when you say you have a right, not the opportunity to purchase, but you have the right to somebody else's labor? What is that called?
Communism.
It's called that, and it's called slavery. When
slavery.
If you say you worked as a nurse, right? If someone said, I have a right to your labor and I don't have to pay for it, you are a slave, right? I thought 100%. The left was supposed to be against all of this, right? If I called up my electrician, because I almost burned our house down here in Tennessee because I bought a treadmill and overloaded the circuit. But if I called my electrician and I said to him, I need you to come out here and fix this problem, and I have a right to your labor and I don't have to pay for it, that man is now my slave. That's what that is. When you declare that you have the right, the human right, health care, Bernie, health care is a human right. If you say that you have the right to somebody else's labor, free of charge to you, you view them as a slave. You expect them to work for free. Well, no, I want them to get paid. Yeah, paid by who? You're not paying. And if the government's paying, then you are paying. So it's not free.
Yep.
And that's That's the biggest problem. You get your house painted. Oh, I have the right to have my house painted. Yeah, you do, but you also need to pay for it. People provide services, and then you transact with them. You give them what the market deems, the value of those services. This is how it's supposed to work. We don't do slavery in this country. And so Greg from Florida was 100% right on that. All right, Phil Almquist, ready to rock and roll for this day in music history. Let's hit it, Phil. Oh, we're getting there.
We're getting there. Oh, okay. I guess we're just going to do it without a bed. But okay. Today, December 22nd, we celebrate the birthday of Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick, who's 77. Heavenly birthday shout out to Robin and Maurice Gibb from the Bee Gees. We also lost Joe Cocker on this day in 2014. Leslie West from Mountain in 2020, and Joe Strummer from The Clash in 2002. Signacude Self-Esteem by The Offspring in 94, and Turn Up the Radio by Autograph in 84. Also in 88, Morrissey made his solo debut. In 91, Greg Allman made his acting debut. In 2008, a cassette tape of a drunk John Lennon recorded a rock cover sold at auction for $30,000. In 78, the Faces drummer Kenny Jones replaced Keith Moon in The Who after his death. And in 68, Eric Burdon left the Animals for a solo career. But lastly, on this day in 80, Pat Benatar debuted in the Hot 100 with the song Heartbreaker. It peaked at number 23. And by the way, if you missed Saturday night's Christmas heavy show, there's this thing called the Odyssey app. For Kayal and Company, I'm Phil Almquist.
Thank you, Phil. And you just got done seeing the Trans-Siberian Orchestra over the weekend, didn't you?
I did. They were amazing, as always. It's a great show. If you haven't seen it, definitely go when you can. Yeah,
they have that pretty awesome kind of almost hardcore Christmas music, right? Is
Well,
it true that they're trans?
No, they are not. It's originally the band is originally Sabotage, and they became Trans-Siberian Orchestra as a sidekick. So, yeah, they're pretty much heavy. So it's good.
Very cool. I've never seen them before. Estee, have you ever seen the Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
That's right. I did that.
Thank you. That just made the whole show right there.
I discovered them. I may have pulled a little white lie out of where, but you got Donald over here talking about he knows Zeus, he knows all these people. I did that.
Well, I do know Zeus.
I heard.
I get along very well with
Those
Zeus.
are my people. I did that.
You look at the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, they call me the maestro, right? I'm the conductor. I'm the maestro. We wave the hands and we conduct
on the stick.
And we play.
Did you teach
like nobody's ever seen
Beethoven
before
too?
We played.
Trump?
Well, I knew Beethoven. I knew Wolfgang. Tremendous composers. Beethoven, Wolfgang, Mozart. Some people call him Mozart. No, I call him Mo. Tremendous guy. Mozart's a tremendous person. We got along very well. We did. And we wrote a lot of iconic music together, just like William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare called him Bill.
I got along really well with Helen Keller. All right, Donald.
That's
Helen
only
Keller,
because she couldn't hear or see you. She couldn't hear or see you, and that was the greatest. She was very happy
She loved me.
to be
Don't
blind
say
and
that,
deaf.
Don.
But she wasn't stupid.
She would yell at me
but
a
she
lot.
was blind and
loved
deaf.
me. She really did.
I'm
She
sure
unheard
she
of what
did.
has been. I think she fell out of a coconut
know?
tree too damn hard. I think that's what happened to her.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
go, Donald.
Thank you,
Well,
boss.
there it is. I cannot believe, thank you, Phil. I cannot believe we have made it through 4 straight hours and went by like this. This is the first time you've ever done something like this, right? For this long on the
It
radio?
really has. I think I have a knack for it. I think I'm a natural. What do you think, Sean?
I think so. Really well. It was a really fun time. I hope you had a good time. How about you let everybody know where to find you? And we will be back here tomorrow morning. But where can everyone find your work and how can everyone support you?
Guys, Mommy RN88 across the board. You can check me out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X, of course, Mommy RN88. I also have a website, laughwithsd.com. It's always a good time. I do some serious talking points once in a while, but really it's just to make the people smile and laugh. And Kamala, she hasn't disappeared, so she's still very much in my portfolio. Come check it out.
107 Days is the name of the book. Have you read it yet?
Oh my God. That was a painful one. I had to look through it a little bit for some context, but she's just, it's like 60% off on Amazon, like 3 weeks in. So I'm sure she's going to write another one, but she's a disaster.
You mean to
Just
tell
all
me this
across the
wasn't a
board.
pop-up book or a picture book? This was an actual book?
This was an
somehow.
actual book, but it's like her recounting it in some eerie way, as if this was like this crazy situation. And she's just making it sound eerie when the reality was she didn't know what she was doing. Their little plan didn't work. July 10th was foiled, and I'll leave the show on that note. I think that's why they were so flustered, because their little initial plan did not work, and that's why she was walking around like a chicken with her head cut off.
All right. Well, we will be back here tomorrow morning, same time, same place, 6 a.m. Eastern time to 10 a.m. Eastern time for 4 more big, beautiful hours. They're going to be the greatest hours the world has ever seen. Nobody's ever seen ours. And I got along very well with the hourglass. We do tremendously well. It will move very quickly for me. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Share it with your friends. Be here. Get on the phone lines tomorrow. We'll love to hear from you again as we continue to take those questions, right, for your favorite president and your least favorite vice president. Or maybe she's our favorite now because of how much material she gives us. So I hope you guys had a great time. We'll see you back here.
Philadelphia, I'm going to see you tomorrow. I studied the math.
That's right. We will be back here tomorrow. Until then, have a great rest of your day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
B101 is